Didn't like the look of it. Right now, the National Weather Service has just issued that tornado warning for Cobb. This storm now started back in the southern sections of Cobb County, and as it was moving now, it started getting that little rotation. And we were looking in the velocity mode, Jeff Hill and I were, and we just didn't like the look of it. And certainly with the reflectivity structure here, we're seeing that. So again, I-75 Cobb Parkway, probably some hail to the north, but it's in this area here, right around Roswell Road, that I'm concerned where we could have some damaging winds in excess of 60, 70 miles an hour. And now they're getting that twisting mechanism, and that's prompted the Weather Service to issue the tornado warning for till 2:45. So again, if we can broaden that view back out there, Jeff, just a little bit, get the folks see where we're talking about. We've had several severe thunderstorms out there across the metro area right now, but this is the cell that's starting to get that kidney bean look to it that really caught our eye here no more than about 10, 15 minutes ago. So we have active severe thunderstorm warnings up to the north there in Forsyth County, but it's the one here in Cobb County making its way to North Fulton County that we believe has spawned a tornado. So radar indicated, no confirmation from any ground truth right now, but we'll certainly be working on that through the course of the afternoon. So here's what you should do in and around Cobb County. You find your lowest place in your work or business, preferably a basement. If you don't have that, then it's an interior room, closet, or a bathroom. Find some way to protect your head from any flying debris. Of course, you're staying away from windows and doors, and you're going to the interior structure. Say if you're in a business and you're up on the 4th or 5th floor, you can find your way down to the bottom floor, if not someplace interior away from the exterior walls. So this storm, there you go, there's about to cross the heart of it right near Whitewater right now. So your eye immediately goes to the purple. That's probably the intense rainfall, probably even some hail, but it's the area just to the appendage that concerns me, coming right across Roswell Road right now, moving toward Whitewater. I think it's moving off to the northeast at a pretty good rate. Earlier, Jeff, they were what, 35, 40? Was it faster than that?
Yes, it was moving to the east at about 40 miles an hour. Now the warning also includes, just want to clarify.
The warning does include Cobb, DeKalb, Forsyth, Fulton, and Gwinnett. So that's how far the warning. But that area right now, the area under concern is certainly Cobb County. So, and it's moving east at 35. So this is a radar indicated tornado for Cobb County and for North Fulton. It's just that the areas, it does include portions of DeKalb County or Gwinnett County. So if you have your weather radio, if you've logged into our Fox 5 Storm Team app, you're getting that tornado warning as well. But if you're in Gwinnett County right now, just stand down. All right, so here's the next scan, Jeff, and we can see that trying to find a bit of an inflow. It still has a bit of a hook to it right now as it makes its way toward Roswell Road and what is that, Oak Lane right there. This is probably the hail core right here, and then it's this area. See if we can see what street this might be right there, just off of Roswell Road. There you go. Robinson Road, I would certainly be in my tornado safety place right now. Holt Road, and then lower Roswell Road here. It's kind of slipping this direction off to the east. So Robinson Road, Roswell Road, you need to take shelter. Now, these storms moving off to the east 35, 40 miles an hour at a pretty good clip. So once this passes, there's not any more behind this, so you're fine. But out ahead of this is, let's broaden this view just a little bit back out there, Jeff, and we'll see the areas that it's just to the north of Sandy Springs. So if you're down at the King and Queen building, you're fine. But if you head up Georgia 400 up to about I think it's the Abernathy Road exit there. That's the direction that it's coming. So Dunwoody's fine, Perimeter Mall, Sandy Springs, you're all right. See, this is to the north and to the northwest of you, but it's right along Roswell Road and Robinson Road now in Cobb County that's under the gun as far as the possibility of a tornado. Again, a tornado warning in effect now for Cobb County and parts of Fulton County. The warning would also include sections of Gwinnett and DeKalb. And now we've gone into the velocity mode here, and we're trying to find a couplet where the red and the green come together, and we're seeing that right here just to the south of Whitewater. There is a couplet there, but it's not all that impressive as far as the miles per hour on this right now. Jeff, if we can, there's the velocity mode. If we go back to reflectivity, and we'll see what we pick up. Again, we have active severe thunderstorm warnings up here. And keep in mind, there's some areas under the tornado watch, which means the conditions are favorable for the possibility of tornadoes. But this is an active warning right now in Cobb County and portions of North Fulton County. So we'll put the storm track on that. And here's where it's headed now: into Mount Bethel in 6 minutes, Greenway in 11, Roswell in 12, North Point Mall 17 minutes. So you have some folks there in North Point Mall. Let them know that a potentially dangerous storm is coming your way. Now, as we look at this in the algorithm that we're using, 100% chance of hail, and the hail pretty good size, and that's that pink that you would see in here, 1 3/4. So that's larger than a golf ball. And we're looking at the VTI, or Viper Tornado Index, on a scale of 1 to 10 is 2.9, is fairly low. But Jeff and I were looking at this cell early on before the tornado warning, and we just didn't like the look of it. And that's why we came on the air to let you know this was a potentially dangerous situation. So again, just to the south now of Sandy Plains is the hail core. It's this area, the appendage, that is our concern right now as it makes its way off to the east, 35, 40 miles an hour. So, you need to look for and listen for the roar of a wind. And if you hear that, obviously you need to be in your tornado safety place. So let people know in Sandy Springs, Smyrna, that area, you're okay. You're fine. Norcross looks to be all right. Roswell, I would say get ready to possibly get to your safety place, as well as Alpharetta, as this storm holds together. So tornado warning will last until about 2:45, or until the Weather Service deems that it's not a threat anymore. But certainly this storm has the potential of doing just that. See if we have any new information. We're seeing just dime-sized hail and 35-mile-an-hour winds there in Dawson, Hall, and Forsyth County as they continue with an active severe thunderstorm warning up there. We have a report from somebody in right around Marietta. They had nickel-sized hail, localized flooding at Allgood Road and Scuffle Grit Road there in Marietta, no more than about 5-10 minutes ago. So we're looking at again, Fox 5 Live Viper. We've got it in the reflectivity now, just now to the northeast of Marietta as the cell tracks off to the east, and the possibility of a tornado. So now the area, this is Roswell Road, there's Oak Lane, so it's making its way to the city of Roswell. And again, tornado safety plan should be in place if you're in and around this area. Just to the north now of Lower Roswell Road. There's Roswell Road, and we're trying to get in. There's Azalea Drive, and that road there is, let's see, Woodlawn Drive northeast. Yeah, and Mount Bethel Christian Academy. Let's hope that the children there are in their tornado safety, putting the tornado safety drill in play as a potentially dangerous storm rolls their way, and it was not going to last long. And we're going to see it move off here very, very quickly. So they're capable of damaging winds. These aren't supercell, the massive tornadoes that we see, that you see pictures of out west. These are quick little spin-ups, but still they can knock down trees. They can take get up under the eaves of roofs and so forth and peel roofs back. And certainly the possibility of picking up and having some flying debris coming into windows and doors as it moves off. So yes, a dangerous situation. Is it a catastrophic? By no means. That's not what we're looking at. Look at this reflectivity up here with the black. There's certainly some of the hail that we were looking at, anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches of hail now, just to the north of Roswell Road and the Marietta Highway in Cobb County, about to cross the Cobb and Fulton County line as it crosses the river there. Yeah, that's probably a tremendous amount of hail coming down now. We'll do some damage on some cars and some roofs. All right, so if we kind of zero back down, we're not seeing too much of an indication of the inflow notch that we're looking at now, just lifting off to the north of Lower Roswell Road and moving towards that Woodlawn Drive area right now. So reiterate, this is a active tornado warning for Cobb County, about to move into Fulton County right now. So in the Roswell area, time for you now to take shelter. Interior room of your home, the basement, a closet, a bathroom, some way to protect your head from any sort of flying debris. For kids, of course, that's a great, the bicycle helmet is awesome. So here's Roswell, there's Roswell Road, north of Dunwoody. You're fine, you're good. Let's put a track on this, Jeff, right here, if we can hit that skit and let folks know. Moving into Mount Bethel now in just about a minute. Dunwoody, now, see how we got the box here. It's going to be north of Dunwoody, but you get the idea, right along Roswell Road between Dunwoody and Roswell. So it's moved out of Marietta. Marietta, you're in the clear. Sandy Plains, you're in the clear right now. Roswell is under the gun for the possibility of this tornado. We have no confirmation that we've had a tornado on the ground or any sort of damage, but we are we're looking at that we had hail size increased to quarter size there in Marietta thanks to a ham operator. So again, the storm track, Mount Bethel in 3 minutes, Roswell in 9, North Point Mall now in 15 minutes. Holds together. It's heading toward Alpharetta in 21 minutes. The VTI, or what we call our Viper Tornado Index, is on a scale of 1 to 10 is up to a 3, so it's increased just a little bit. But there's our appendage hanging down. There's their hail core. So it would be this area that I would expect to see the possibility of a tornado. Now, up in Roswell, yeah, you're going to get the real heavy rain. You're going to get the wind perhaps up to 60 miles an hour, but the rotation of the storm is down right in here. So as it crosses Roswell Road and eventually Georgia 400, making its way up to Alpharetta. So again, to point out, Sandy Springs, Chamblee. You might be in DeKalb County right now and your weather alert has told you about a tornado warning. DeKalb County, you're fine. You can stand down. But it's as far as Cobb County and Fulton County, we're dealing with this possibility of a rotating thunderstorm with a tornado. So we have had quarter-size hail there in Marietta with this, so I expect that to probably be a little bit larger with that reflectivity. There we go. They're saying the hail size now on our skit was up to 2 inches. That is substantial. So there we go. Now the hail size down to 1.5 inches. VTI at 3. Here's our latest storm track now in Roswell in the next 5 minutes. North Point Mall in 10, Alpharetta in 17. Holding together Johns Creek in 22. So this is an active tornado warning now, transitioning from Cobb County into Fulton County. And so, wow, look at that hail right along Azalea Drive and north of Roberts Road right now, south of the 120 loop there, the Marietta Highway. That's really high DBZ, meaning that pretty large hailstone now being caught up in the updraft. And that tells us the intensity of the storm, certainly, across this area. And we're seeing if the updraft can sustain something that's 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter, imagine how strong those winds are to shove that hailstone back up into the cloud. And then you throw in the fact that surface winds up out of the southwest, maybe a little bit further to the south, the mid-level winds, you start getting that twisting of the rotation, the shear in the atmosphere that we see, winds changing direction with height, and that is what we're seeing here on the back edge of the storm that has prompted the possible tornado warning. So city square of Dunwoody, fine. It's between Dunwoody and Roswell now, about to cross Roswell Road right now, and there's Georgia 400. So hopefully there's going to be some cars getting some damage with this hail right here, no doubt about it, just to the south of downtown Roswell. So a little bit, this concerns me a little bit. See that little notch right there? That's the wind rotating into the storm right now. And Jeff, let's see what that looks like on the velocity. Jeff Hill's driving Fox 5 Live Viper for us, and we can see, and there's a live shot from the King and Queen building there in Sandy Springs, and this storm would be just to the north of that. So as we, this is one of the modes of a Doppler radar to see the movement of the raindrops and see if there's a rotation. We're looking at red moving away from the radar site, green toward the radar site. So it's that area Jeff's saying that a little bit of a couplet where red meets the green perhaps right in here. It's a couplet. It's not all that impressive as far as we'd want this to be really, really bright green and that to be really, really bright red to indicate something that was really substantial as far as the wind, but not seeing that right now. We've got a couple still active severe thunderstorm warnings in addition to this tornado warning that we're looking at. Boy, look at that. This is what we call a barren button here on our radar, and if we do query that, let's see what this hail size is just out of curiosity. Yeah, 2 inches, but it's gone up to 3+ inches. Boy, that's getting almost into baseball size hail, and that's again what we're talking about, the strong updrafts of this particular thunderstorm. So in and around that, 1 inch to 1.5 inch hail. Now, that's what the radar's picking up. Keep in mind, there'll be some melting involved as that hailstone falls, but still, that is pretty impressive as far as hail size goes. So this storm now is still moving off to the east about 35, 40 miles an hour. We have a report there right around 2 miles northwest of Whitewater Park. Let's see, what do we had? We had hail at 1 inch. No doubt about it. Yeah, I would think that we saw that with our radar. Okay, so this is Fox 5 Live Viper now. We've gone back to the reflectivity mode, what you typically would see and look for on a radar. And again, it's this area that see that bit of an inflow notch, we call it, near Roswell Road right now, north of Roswell. And again, Georgia 400 slipping up this way. So if you're in those neighborhoods just to the south of, say, Wing Mill Road and moving into Brandon Mill Road, some neighborhoods there, it's time for your tornado safety place. If you know somebody that in that area of South Roswell, just south of the town, the square, you could let them know that there's a storm coming their way that has the potential to see some rotation. So we have video now of hail the size of golf balls from right around the Big Chicken there in Marietta, and it was coming down pretty good. Yes, thanks to, I believe, a viewer that had sent this in. And yeah, you can see there's the dark clouds, and certainly take it easy out there driving. Boy, this is just a bad time for storms to come in right in the heart of the afternoon. The good news is all this will be out of here by the afternoon rush hour. And so as the storm is making its way now from Cobb County, as I said, we've transitioned into portions of Fulton County. Keep in mind that you have the tornado warning there for Gwinnett County and for DeKalb County. I think DeKalb County, certainly you can stand down this storm. If we brighten the view back out there, Jeff, what are you pointing out there, Jeff? It's
two schools there, Ison Springs Elementary and Davis Academy.
Yeah, Davis Academy, Ison Springs Elementary School, right up there, as the storm now has moved over the top of that. There's the dark black you see is the hail core of the storm. It's now moved to the east of Roswell. There you go, right just north of this Martin Road. The hook, not as impressive as it once was, but still there's probably going to be some damaging wind with that, up to 60, 70 miles an hour. So we first had a severe thunderstorm warning with the storm, and then Jeff Hinnell and I were looking at it, just the structure of the storm, didn't like the way we saw it, so we came on program. So sorry to interrupt your program right now, but this is a very important information because it's in a highly populated area, the possibility now of a tornado. And the tornado warning was issued, I guess, right around 2 o'clock in effect for the next 45 minutes. So here you go. We've got a storm track on that cell moving now toward North Point Mall in 5 minutes. Certainly be in the interior of the mall there. You know somebody that's there shopping, just let them know what's going on. Make sure they're not near any of those exterior windows and doors. 11 minutes into Alpharetta, Johns Creek 17 into 18 minutes into the Brookwood community. And again, there's the picture from the King and Queen building, Sandy Springs. This would be looking off to the north where the storm is. So any place south of Dunwoody, south of Roswell, this storm is not coming your way. So even though you have our Fox 5 Storm Team app, even though you might have a weather radio, you program it to DeKalb County, it's going off. You say, I know where you're having a tornado. No, not in DeKalb County. And much of Gwinnett County is kind of on lookout right now, but this storm is actually in now Fulton County, making its way to DeKalb County. So in and around the areas of Martin Road, there's Riverside Road, there's the hail core now just to the north of Roberts Drive, and we've had hail, Doppler radar estimates as large as 3 inches. Now that's probably going to be pared down as it melts and falls through the atmosphere, but substantial hail nonetheless, and that tells us as meteorologists what a powerful updraft this storm has to support such hail size. So as this moves now towards Old Alabama Road, and it'll eventually start getting its way into portions of Gwinnett County. So that's what I'm saying, the areas of Gwinnett County, just to the other side of Johns Creek, you folks there in Duluth, you need to be on ready because this storm is coming your way. DeKalb County, not so much. If we widen the view back out just a little bit there, Jeff, we can give a bearing of where we are. There's Norcross, so Norcross, you're fine. South of Spalding Drive, you're fine. So this is moving this direction towards Jones Bridge Road, and we're waiting on this to update. We can put a track on it for you. And it's this appendage that had the possibility of rotation now just to the south of Roswell. So again, just a minute away now from North Point Mall, the real core of the storm. Newtown in 3 minutes, Alpharetta in 7. Hail size now at 2 inches, probably with the storm as it races off to the east-northeast, 38 miles an hour. Seeing if we have any sort of confirmation. We understand that the Roswell and Alpharetta have sounded their sirens. It's a good reminder. That's great for people outside, but do not rely on sirens as your only way of getting information as far as a tornado coming. That's kind of old, antiquated. Sirens are meant to be heard when you're outside. They're not to be meant to be heard when you're inside your school or your business or your home. You need to find another way to get the warnings, preferably through a smartphone, a tablet. Weather radio is always just the best because it's immediate, just like the ones on the apps. But some folks don't have that, and the weather radio is something that is readily available. So surely you're getting the alert and the alarms. The alert and the alarms if you're in portions of Gwinnett County and Fulton County. So, Jeff, we got some video that I think we're going to take a look at.
Yes, we do. Give you a break just for a second here. We're going to go take a look at some video that we have of the hail that's been falling. And it's just huge for our area, especially getting up to $half size, maybe even as large as tennis balls in some areas. This looks like it's probably about golf ball size hail. Marietta, we also have some video for you from the Dallas, Georgia area. That also looks like that pretty close to golf ball size hail there as well. And the hail has been extending all the way up into Gainesville. So all the way up into Hall County, they've been getting large hail as well. This is the hail that you see right now coming from Gainesville. So again, it looks like there is a tornado with this storm that is making its way, as David's been telling you, now crossing the Chattahoochee River near the Riverside Drive area. It has gone through Roswell, it crossed over Roswell Road, crossed over 400, and it almost looks like it's going to go right along the Chattahoochee River. It's right near that area. I'm thinking maybe in that near the Horseshoe Bend area, and it's going to continue right along the Chattahoochee River. It's not that the river's attracting it or anything, but it just looks like the trajectory of that storm as it continues to move to the east-northeast will almost follow the Chattahoochee River all the way over out of North Fulton County on over into Gwinnett County. So, David, it looks like probably Gwinnett County right now is going to be seeing it pretty soon as this thing gets pretty close to Medlock Bridge and then makes its way over maybe toward Duluth and McGinnis Ferry and points north up towards Suwanee.
Yeah, let's point out first and foremost, certainly for our crew in there, no tornado warning now for Cobb County and no tornado warning for DeKalb County. Those have been lifted or rescinded or chopped off. It's Fulton County now and Gwinnett County that we are concerned about with this storm that we've been tracking now for the better part of nearly a half hour. So the active warning is for Fulton, and it'll cross over the river and head into Gwinnett County to the north of Norcross, but areas in and around Duluth and points northbound Duluth on into Suwanee. This is coming your way. So here we go. Let's give a little bit broader view there, Jeff, if we can, and we can get our bearings. So now south of Alpharetta, probably right on top of North Point Mall right now. That is the hail core. It's this little appendage here that has the possibility of a rotation tornado. That's prompted the warning that we've had going on now for probably about a half hour. So that's what we call it. See that little notch right there? It's inflow notch. That's the wind going in, wrapping itself around itself. And we're seeing probably winds 60, 70 miles an hour. This is a substantial storm. It's a very dangerous storm. It can bring down trees and power lines and to get up under the roof and lift roofs up and so forth. So you need to be in your tornado safety place, shelter, basement, and don't have a basement, then a closet, bathroom, someplace away from windows and doors. You want to put as many walls as you can between you and the tornado. Now, I will say this is not one of those super cells that we see like out west that is going to be catastrophic. Nonetheless, it's a dangerous storm, and you need to make sure that you're taking the precautions. So now we're just to the north of Duluth, the trajectory of this. So it's south of Alpharetta right now, and you can see the vision there from the King and Queen building from our tower cam out there in Sandy Springs. So it's past that, and it's moving on. So no more active warning there for Cobb and DeKalb. The active tornado warning is for Fulton and Gwinnett County. So that's black that you see there is really high reflectivity, probably up around, I'd say 55, 60 dBz. So what that tells us is the size of the meteor that the radar is hitting, and that's pretty large. And our radar now estimating that this hail size nearly 2 inches, 1.75 inches, and that will do some damage on roofs and cars. So we've got a new storm track on this now, moving towards just south of Alpharetta in 6 minutes, but it's more towards Johns Creek in 11 minutes, the Brookwood area in 12, and now Suwanee in 21 minutes, so north of Duluth. There is Jones Bridge Road. There is Medlock Bridge Road. That's Highway 141 in Gwinnett County, just to the outskirts of Duluth right now. And so if you're in Duluth and point south, you're fine. You're good. The storm is to your north, but it's the area right along Medlock Bridge, just to the north there of the Atlanta Athletic Club and Johns Creek and Jones Bridge Road right now. Here comes the hail core your way. So certainly cars and roofs are going to be damaged by the size of that hail and the intensity. That's a fairly large cell that we're looking at. This area now, Jeff's putting a storm track on. This is kind of the area that we're concerned about that has the possibility of the rotation and where the tornado would be. We haven't had any confirmation, but here we go, moving into the Warsaw community in 7 minutes, Pittman in 8, Johns Creek in 9, Duluth in 11, but we said just to the north of Duluth. Keep in mind the storm track is a little bit wider. This is going to be a very narrow path here just to the north of Duluth and moving into Suwanee right now. So what we're dealing with, in case you're just joining us, we had a couple severe thunderstorms earlier this afternoon. The environment ripe for these to erupt, and then we throw in the possibility of a tornado, and then this is what this one looked like. It had some rotation to it. We were concerned about it. Jeff Hill and I were monitoring it this afternoon, and we came on the air to say, hey, we didn't like the look of this, and then the National Weather Service agreed, and they prompted the tornado warning for this area. So no reports of any damage as of yet. I've been monitoring some information. Just what we've found is just some hail. There's been no wind damage. We know there's hail with this storm, certainly. Now we're seeing quarter-size hail near Alpha Park in Fulton County, quarter-inch hail. We've also seen in Marietta and along Roswell Road and Hope Road, quarter-inch size hail. So here we go. Broaden the view back out. The yellow boxes, severe thunderstorm warnings, we don't want to neglect those, but when we have a tornado warning, that's what we're really going to focus on, especially in a highly populated area such as North Fulton County moving into western Gwinnett County. What Jeff has put on here is kind of a demarcation of what the core of the storm is, and that's hail, and we're looking at hail as large as 1.5 inches in diameter, and we pointed out it may not be that large as it falls to the ground, but it's that large as it's up in the updraft, and those winds are supporting that. So that's pretty powerful stuff. As it falls to the ground is 1.25 inches hail. That can still do damage. So this is the area now that the storm, we've tracked it since its origins back into Marietta. It's made its way now into south of Roswell, east of Roswell, and south of Alpharetta, north of Duluth, making its way towards Suwanee right now. So if I'm in this area here, portions of Gwinnett County, I'm letting folks know that they need to go to the tornado safety place, a basement, an interior room, someplace away from windows and doors, and to certainly find a way to protect your head. Understand that meteorologist Doug Evans has some video for us, a video of hail. Do we know where Doug was as he was shooting this? Shot this, I guess.
Well, this actually comes from our Facebook page, David.
Okay.
A viewer
All right, Doug.
from Roswell, Carolyn, sent this video in just a couple of minutes ago. This is large hail as this storm passed over Roswell just a few minutes ago. Hail as large as golf balls. We've gotten, David, reports of golf ball size hail all the way from the square in Marietta in a line going all the way to Roswell. So very heavy hail, very large hail is falling connected with this storm.
Yeah, not surprised there. Boy, there's a tremendous hail core with this. Been that way for the better part now of 45 minutes. So Jeff Hill's driving Fox 5 Live Viper, and here's an update on that. Hail 1.25 inches right now. This cell making its way towards Johns Creek in the next 4 minutes. 2 minutes in Warsaw community. Suwanee in 14 minutes. So you've got 14 minutes now. If you've got a car someplace and need to be moving it inside or underneath something, if you don't want hail dings on it, as well as thinking about where your tornado safety place is going to be in your work it's your home. Certainly the schools in this area are probably exercising their drill, or at least I would encourage them to do so in and around Suwanee right now, and just to the south of Alpharetta and North Point Mall. If you're in Snellville, if you're in Lawrenceville, you're fine. Norcross, you're fine. And around the town square, yes, your weather radio's probably gone off, your app's gone off saying there's a tornado warning in Gwinnett County and it's near us. What should we do? Well, that's the great thing about pinpointing these things on radars. You can let people know when they're in harm's way. You can also let people know, which is equally as valuable, that they're not in harm's way. And so in and around downtown Lawrenceville, Norcross, and of course any place back off to the west, you are just fine. In Sandy Springs and Marietta, the storm has left you and is moving away. But now under the gun is Suwanee. Beaufort, I think you would be next as we find this holding together. Now, we've had no reports of any wind damage with this. We've had only hail reports. We value your reports after the storm, so you can check in with us there, certainly on our Fox 5 Facebook page, also myfoxatlanta.com. We welcome your images as well. Do it very safely, not in the height of the storm. We don't need anybody to do that, but we need you to be safe first, and then after the fact, we love to hear and see some verification of what we see on Fox 5 Live Viper. So let's kind of drill that down there, Jeff, if we can, right into the heart of the storm. And now we've just had an updated scan. Hail core is not as deep, but we're still seeing a little bit of an inflow right there. Here's the appendage hanging down of what we call the hook in around Bell Road. If you're just to the outskirts, just to the north of Duluth right now. So what is this road right here coming out of Duluth? I think that's highway.
That's Duluth Highway.
Duluth Highway, yeah, okay. Well, it makes sense. And that's the area right in here, just to the north of Duluth, that I would be concerned for the possibility of wind damage. Now, when you start seeing wind also, see this tight gradient here where it goes from green to the yellow to the red and eventually to the purple in kind of a small space, indicating a tighter gradient to us. Probably have some damaging winds there, and there's some outflow from the thunderstorm. Those can knock down trees and power lines and do damage as well. It just doesn't have to be a tornado for that to happen. But certainly when you start getting the air twisting, it can cause more damage and more of a concern as it propels objects and so forth. So now just Bell Road, you're getting the hail core right now. Medlock Bridge Road, you're getting the hail core as well. And now coming down Duluth Highway, we're seeing a little bit of an inflow with this cell. The tornado warning is it still active, Jeff? I think that
I've lost count in all of this.
They're continuing. Yes, I'm just looking at new information. Yep. They're continuing the tornado warning as this is moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. Now we understand. And this is important for our news crews as well. We understand there's a tree on a house in Martin's Landing that's in Roswell. Tree on a house. So that's our first wind damage report that I've seen. And also some wind damage, Spalding Drive at Ball Creek Way with tree on the road. So we've had now confirmation with some tree damage with this system, with this cell that we've been tracking since before 2 o'clock. So again, the time now is at 2:41, and we started back before the 2 o'clock hour with this cell. Sorry to interrupt your programming, but this is an important weather information because this is a potentially dangerous weather situation in a highly populated area. And anytime that we have a tornado possibility, we're going to bring that information to you here and from the Fox 5 Storm Center. So again, there's Duluth, there's the Duluth Highway, Bell Road, Medlock Bridge Road. There's the hail core, that bright purple right there. But you want to look to the south of the hail core for the possibility of the rotation of winds that would be a tornado. And so we've got some confirmation on the hail. Look at the size of this hail, all right? So that is in Marietta. That's what this storm produced. And yes, that is larger than a quarter. And you can see the kind of the raggedness on the hail. And what would be interesting is, check this out. If you took that hail stone and you sliced it in two and kind of did a cross section of it, it would have some rings in it, and each one of those rings would represent how many trips it made up into the thunderstorm. So you could see how many times that went up into the cloud, how strong those updrafts were to support that hailstone for that many times. So if you see some hail out there and the storm has passed, go out there and do that. It's pretty cool to look at. All right, this is not cool because this is the possibility of a tornado right here just to the north now of Duluth, making its way towards Suwanee. New storm track on that puts it in Suwanee in the next 11 minutes. Shake Rag before that in 5 minutes. Coolray Field 18 minutes and Buford in 19 minutes as the storm holds together, and hail possibility of 1.25 inches in diameter. So if we can, Jeff, let's see what this looks like on velocity. See if we can find any more couplets down in this cell that we saw earlier that me and you both looked at about 45, 50 minutes ago, going, we did not like the look of that.
It didn't
at
look
all.
good.
No, not so much
Not a whole
anymore.
lot there.
I mean, I'm not too concerned about that right there at all. So no, and that's good news, certainly for the possibility of a tornado. Doesn't diminish the fact that this is a powerful thunderstorm right now that can on its own produce winds at 60 to 70 miles an hour. And we've seen now reports now of some trees down back to the west as the storm is moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. So transitioning, as we said, now out of Fulton County, certainly in Gwinnett County. So I would think that folks in Fulton County, you'll be dropped from the tornado warning like Cobb County was and DeKalb County was, but now this is just to the north of Duluth, and we've been pointing out Bell Road, Medlock Bridge Road. That is where the hail core is, and then the area just to the south of that is where I would be concerned about damaging winds and rotating winds with this particular cell. Let's see, where they're going to continue. Perhaps the tornado warning, it's in Gwinnett County now, so that's certainly, I think the time frame, though, is that it was going to expire at 2:45, so I'd expect that to be continued, and we're certainly going to be here with you as this storm still has the potential of doing damage in a highly populated area. So we've moved out of Fulton County and now into Gwinnett County with the core and the real strength of the storm. Yeah, Jeff?
I was just going to say, just to give you a bearing, see the lake right here, that's, I believe that's Sugarloaf. So that's,
Okay.
if you're familiar with that area, that's Sugarloaf Country Club in the neighborhood there. So it looks like that appendage area could pass very close to there, and then there's Discover Mills, Mullet, Georgia being a little bit farther up the road. We've got McGinnis Ferry
Right.
and Lawrenceville Swanee Road up here. So just to give you a bearing on that area for those that might be viewing.
Now, Jeff, you were, of course, on at Fox 5 News at noon today, and we were looking at the potential of these severe thunderstorms popping up in an environment. And
It went from 0 to 60 in 1 second.
Yeah,
I mean, there was nothing.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, boom, this stuff just flared up. So,
yeah. And the concern was we were going to have these thunderstorms. We knew the potential was going to be there for damaging winds and hail, but it's this rotation there that is somewhat surprising in the environment that we're in currently right now. So is that a new warning that just came out?
New warning, we have a severe thunderstorm warning, and the tornado warning has been a new tornado warning now for Barrow, Forsyth, Fulton, Gwinnett, Hall, and Jackson until 3:30. So it's an extension, I believe, of what we already have.
So what the National Weather Service has done, and they're the ones that issue the warnings and the watches as well, but the warnings for the storm, what they're going to do with this storm now is they're going to extend the warning and bring it up this way. So it's going to encompass a lot of counties early on to give you a heads up to make sure that you have certainly your tornado safety plan in place. So as Jeff was pointing out, we have this tornado warning for Gwinnett County. It's still for Fulton County, but it's really it's kind of left that. The county line is right there on the river. So I wouldn't expect much of Fulton County to be under that any longer in the next couple of minutes. But certainly Gwinnett County, and then looking up the road into Hall and Jackson, a little area of Forsyth perhaps, but I'm not too concerned about Forsyth County right now. I don't think the storm's going to do one of these numbers right here into Cumming. So we want you to be prepared in the area that's going to be the most influenced. Again, we pointed out earlier, it's equally as important when nowadays folks can get warnings all through their phone, their apps, their computers, their iPads. That's great. We want you to get the warnings. But you also have to understand what the warning means, and you have to understand that it may not be where you are in Gwinnett County right now. If you're listening to me in Loganville right now or in Lilburn, you're fine. The storm is not coming your way. But if you're in Suwanee, yes, it's coming your way. In Buford, it's coming your way. It's left Duluth right now. And look at this. The next scan, Jeff, put a pretty good hail core right back in there, just the outskirts of Bell Road. And that was the hail that we were indicating could be anywhere from 2 to 3 inches in diameter. So he's gone to a mode now on the radar that will do just that. Query that black box right there. What is that going to be?
That should be
2 inches. Yeah, okay. Very inch and a half. Very good. Yes. And so that is the size that the radar is indicating the hail could be. We talk about it melting as it falls to the ground. So if it falls on the ground, it may not be 2 inches, but it certainly could be 1 3/4, an inch and a half. So now here's some hail video from earlier in Cobb County, what this cell produced no more than about 45 minutes ago. And you can see it bouncing off the hood of the car in the parking lot right there. In Hall County, we had as big as a golf ball size hail in and around the Big Chicken there in Marietta as the storm moved right across Whitewater as well, and then into North Fulton County, into the Roswell community between Roswell and Alpharetta, and now it's bearing down on Suwannee in Gwinnett County. So this is the area that we're concerned about now, western Gwinnett County. So Jeff's put a storm track on this now. In Suwannee, here comes the core of the storm your way. It's probably raining and storming a little bit in Suwannee right now, but it's really going to intensify in the next 3 minutes, into Sugar Hill in 7 minutes, right around Coolray Field in the Mall of Georgia in 10 minutes, and 11 minutes there, and holding together as it makes its way to the northern sections of the county to Hog Mountain in about 19 minutes, and you see the hail size there, 1 3/4 inches. So the structure of the storm, it's kind of waffled a little bit, but there's the next scan. We're still looking at a little bit of an inflow right there, Jeff, if we can kind of zero. Your eye always goes to the hail core. That's bad enough, but it's kind of this right here that concerns me on the reflectivity. Right along Satellite Boulevard, there's I-85, and of course 85 arcing off to the northeast near Satellite Boulevard. What's this? Horizon Drive and the Sawmill Drive. The road is that there?
For some reason,
Yeah.
it's naming I-85 Sawmill Road.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
We don't know why that is. Okay, well we know we know this is I-85 right there, no doubt. The kind of the orange line right there. So the cell's about to cross I-85 just to the north of Discover Mill right now.
There's Lawrenceville,
Yep.
Suwannee right there.
Lawrenceville, Suwannee, yes.
Crosses right in this area.
So what you're going to be on the lookout for, you're going to be on the lookout for rotation within that cloud. And certainly if you're in that area, in and around Suwannee, you're listening to us. And you don't have to have the television do that. We're live on our app and through our website as well. And you need to go to your tornado safety place. And we talk about that's something you predetermined ahead of time, but if you're in your home, down into a basement, interior room, a closet, or a bathroom, you don't have a basement on the first floor, someplace away from windows and doors, you want as many exterior walls between you and the storm. Now, this isn't a catastrophic tornado event. This isn't like everybody's going to think about back in April of 2011. This isn't something like this, but this is a potentially dangerous storm with rotating winds that can do some damage and certainly cause some issues. So it's this area. There's downtown Suwannee getting hammered right now, I'm sure, with hail right along Buford Highway. And also in and around Satellite Boulevard is where we're going to see the potential gusty, damaging, rotating winds with this active tornado warning. So there you go. Horizon Drive, Crest Ridge, that's on the other side now, the east side of I-85. But I think this is going to kind of lift it up and parallel and right now Satellite Boulevard. So any place along Satellite Boulevard, McGinnis Ferry Road now is where this appendage or this hook is setting up shop right now, racing off to the east at about 35, 40 miles an hour. We'll see if local storm report again, golf ball size hail in Roswell at Holcomb Bridge and 400. So that just confirms what our radar has been picking up through the course of this afternoon. And we understand from the emergency manager there in Fulton County that there is a tree down on the roadway at Spalding Drive and Ball Creek Way. Also hail there along east of 400. No damage reports there. So we're continuing coverage right now. If you're just joining us, it is now 2:51. We've been on for about an hour now with this one single cell. There was a severe thunderstorm, and then Jeff Hill and I were looking at it. We didn't like what we saw inside the structure of the storm with a possibility of rotation, and it was moving into a highly populated area of Marietta and Cobb County, and the Weather Service agreed and issued a tornado warning for that area as it makes its way off to the east, 35, 40 miles an hour. So this is where it is right now. This is I-85, this orange line right here. There's Satellite Boulevard. There's the hail core, the black, the highest reflectivity we're showing right now. That's where the hail is, but it's in this area just to the south of the hail that would be the concern for the possibility of a tornado, a rotating thunderstorm, rotating winds. So you're going to get the straight line winds with a storm. You're going to get the 60, 70 plus mile-an-hour winds that can bring down trees on the power lines and such. And we've seen trees down already, but it's that rotation that really concerns us that can do even more damage, even at 80, 90, 100 miles an hour with some of these, what we could consider a smaller tornado, but a tornado nonetheless. So, Jeff, you've got some new video, I think, coming into the Fox 5 Storm Center of this particular cell.
We do. One's from our main news anchor, Russ Spencer, who was out in Johns Creek today. I believe I saw that he was doing a charity event there. Here is some large hail that fell in the Johns Creek area. That's that same hail that has now moved up into Suwannee that David was just showing you. We also have some video that we shot out of Roswell, and this shows you some of that large hail. That looks like that's awfully close to golf ball size hail, quarter size hail. So large hail all across the metro areas. David was saying if your car is sitting outside and this hail is coming toward you, if you're in and around the Suwannee area, and we just got a new scan on the radar that hail is now shifted up toward the Mall of Georgia. And in fact, what possibly could be the tornado, the appendage of that system, now is hanging on the other side of I-85 across Georgia 20 over toward Coolray Field. So if you're familiar with the Mall of Georgia and where 20 crosses 85 right there, that's probably, if there's a tornado, that is where it's located right now. And that's going to continue to push right up along I-85, eventually on toward the Gravel Springs Road, up toward the Hog Mountain area, up toward Decula, up toward Hamilton Mill, will eventually be affected by this cell as it continues to move on to the north and east. So, David, we did get a new scan.
Yep.
Maybe we can put a track on this now.
Yeah, let's do that. We're getting information that this the best rotation, just we've seen just to the east and southeast of Suwannee. So Suwannee being back this direction. There's, you Jeff pointed out, there's the Mall of Georgia, Coolray Field. It's this area that we would see that rotation around Rock Springs Road now. It's crossed over I-85 and kind of parallel, and really I-85 as it makes its way to the east. So you folks now up towards Hog Mountain, up towards Hamilton Mill area, Houston, this is coming your direction right now. If you're south of that, places like Lawrenceville and Lilburn, Gwinnett County, you still have the tornado warning, but that does not include you. The storm Decula, you're safe, you're fine. It's north of Decula that we're concerned, between Beaufort, Suwannee. The Sugar Hill area, you're probably getting some heavy rain at now, maybe some hail, but it's just to the now northeast of Suwannee. Moving up I-85, that we have the possibility of this rotating thunderstorm that has spawned a tornado. Now, the tornado warning, I'm sure, has been dropped or will be for Fulton County. No worries there. So you're in the clear now, Fulton County. It's now Gwinnett County, portions of Hall, and I think moving into Barrow and Banks County that we'll have to be looking. I think for Scythe County, you're fine as well. So it's equally as important to let folks know in and around the area who's under risk and who is not. So if you're just joining us right now, sorry to interrupt your programming. We had a very dangerous weather situation ongoing right now. A few of these severe thunderstorms, one in particular decided it wanted to have some rotation to it. It prompted tornado warning, and Jeff Hill and I have been on the air since for a better part of an hour right now, tracking this cell that was first out over Marietta and then made its way across the top end and into now portions of Gwinnett County. So you can see that it's moving toward Coolray Field right now. It's Mall of Georgia. It's on top of you. Hog Mountain in 7 minutes right along I-85. The hail to the north, it's the appendage and the possibility of the damaging winds down to the south there. Right now, Rock Springs Road right over Coolray Field, and then moving out towards the the Brazelton Highway, and this is Hog Mountain right here. That community, certainly, if you're listening to me in Hog Mountain, it's time for you to go to your tornado safety place. Understand that meteorologist Doug Evans has some more information for us, perhaps some images and confirmation of the hail. Doug?
Well, David, we've certainly been getting a lot of good pictures in from our viewers on our Fox 5 Facebook page. We have seen the pictures, the reports of hail moving all the way from Marietta to Roswell, then Alpharetta. Now we're getting pictures in from Johns Creek. This is Shannon Leach, shared this photo on our Facebook page. You can see the hailstones covering her garden there. More hail and debris, Roswell Square about 20 minutes ago. There's the ominous looking skies over Cobb County, shared by Stephanie. This is how it looked in Clarksville. More pictures of the ominous sky there. Lots of pictures of hail. Hail as large as golf balls. We've been seeing a lot of different video coming in. Here's more of the hailstones right there. You can see the widespread coverage. I mean, the hail not only fell, it fell thickly. It, of course, can do a great deal of damage when it comes down. You need to be very careful. If it can dent a car, it can certainly hurt your head. So be careful as you go out there. Just lots of reports of large size, very large size hail. There's hail in Johns Creek and in by Mark Terry. Again, more of the ominous skies. Hail collected around the gutters there. Look at all of this hail in the hands of Nathan and Alpharetta. Just a lot of pictures that people are sharing. We want to continue to ask you to share these photos with us, but be careful. Make sure that you don't go out until the storm has passed. We certainly don't want you out in the danger. Stay in your safe place until all of the warnings have passed your area, David.
Thank you, Doug. Yeah, we've canceled now the tornado warning as we anticipated for Forsyth and Fulton County. So Jeff Hill now managing Fox 5 Live Viper and driving it as this cell now moves in and around the Hog Mountain community. And Jeff, this is where we've seen the rotation right now moving that direction. The hail core up to the north, but certainly Hog Mountain heading towards Chateau Alon is the area that's under the gun right now.
And if I could, because this is about a mile from my house, so
sure.
I know this.
Well, give us some landmarks up there for folks.
I certainly can. Right at the intersection of Auburn Road and Brazelton. That's right where the Kroger is right there, where I shop. Right down the road, you keep going down Brazelton Highway here, you'll get to Hamilton Mill Road. So the Hamilton Mill community is right over in this area. It looks like that appendage, if there is some kind of circulation, is right over the center of Hog Mountain, an area up in Gwinnett County where Auburn Road and Brazelton Highway come together right there. That will continue if it stays on that trajectory. It'll go all the way up through the Hamilton Mill community. It'll be close to Mill Creek High School. Chateau Alon is a little bit farther up to the north and on the other side of I-85, so maybe the tornadic or the rotating part of that cell should stay on the other side of I-85, but they're definitely going to get the hail. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because if anybody knows where Auburn Road and Brazelton Highway come together, that's right where that circulation is right now.
All right. So let folks know, now the storm has moved out of Cobb County. You're fine in Cobb County. We understand from the folks there that the buses have been released 30 minutes later. So it's all good in Cobb County. It's just the buses, they held the students, wisely so, as the storm rolled across Marietta and portions of that county. So in Cobb County, the school buses, we understand, coming into the Fox 5 newsroom, running about 30 minutes late. So we wanted to bring you up to date on that. All right, so here's the deal. We still have an active tornado warning for Gwinnett County as it pushes up towards areas of Barrow County, Banks County. A little area of Hall County is under the tornado warning, but certainly it looks like it's south of Flowery Branch. You're getting probably some rain in Flowery Branch, but not the potential of a tornado. That is well down to our south, as Jeff Hill was pointing out, right around Hog Mountain right now. So we've had numerous reports of trees down now, but thank goodness no injuries to report and no big damage. Nonetheless, this is a dangerous storm now as it has held together its structure pretty well, rolling out of Cobb County as first a severe thunderstorm and now as the possibility of a tornado producing thunderstorm just to the paralleling I-85 right now. That's where the main hail core is right now, and Jeff's put a track on that, moving into Houston here in 18 minutes, Brazelton in 18 minutes, toward the Belmont community in 20. Hail size up to 1.25 inches. Pretty large, and our VTI, what we call our Viper Tornado Index, 2.6. That's on a scale of 1 to 10. What we look for on that, though, is a quick rise in that number or a quick decrease in that number, indicating the rise would be the likelihood of a tornado, and then the decrease would be that the funnels after the rotation is actually lifted back up into the cloud. So good news there. All right, so let's kind of zero in down to see how it's moved through the Hog Mountain community there, Jeff. Just to the north, as you were saying, at that exit there in Hamilton Mill and the Brazelton Highway. And, of course, Mill Creek High School is just up the way there off of Brazelton Highway. So hopefully they've held the students in there. The storm will pass here in the next little bit, and it's moving rather rapidly at 35 to 40 miles an hour. The purple your eyes go to right away, that's higher reflectivity. That would indicate to us where the hail core is. But the area that we're concerned about is this little appendage that hangs down. That's where we could see the rotation and a possible tornado. So now it's moved to the east of Hog Mountain right now. and you look for that little bit of an indentation in around Pine Road and Brazelton Highway. So in this area, this is where I would make sure that I'm in my tornado safety place. And it's just not going to last very long, but you need to be there in case something does drop out and come in contact with the ground as a tornado. So that's what we're watching through the course of the afternoon. At 3 o'clock now, we've been with you for a better part of an hour. If you're just joining us, a dangerous weather situation for parts of metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Jeff, we can give a broader view to see what's going on. There's had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in and around metro Atlanta. Now the only one we can find is up here in Banks County as it makes its way towards Stevens County in the upstate of South Carolina. This storm capable of damaging winds and hail. We don't want to dismiss that, but it's this cell that had the possibility of tornadoes. Now, if we go back, Jeff, you can see there's been a couple cells to refire there in Marietta. Between Mableton and Marietta, and then also Roswell. These folks are going, wait, we already had one go through. Well, looks like you're going to get some heavy rain with this, but the structure of these does not look nearly as intense as what we just went through. We'll still keep an eye on them for you, though, but it'd be rare for these to fire back up into really intense or severe limits. So still some more rain, though, kind of adding insult to injury. So throughout, you can see that big cell that rolled on through. These are just kind of trailing in its wake. So. Jeff, you got something to share? Is that?
Yes, I believe we have some new video to show you of the hail that we've had across the area. If we could roll that footage, we'll show you what we are talking about here. And that poor car right there is getting pelted. That will be hail damage. That will be an insurance claim here, I am sure. The hail coming down today will do damage to your car, will do damage to anything that's sitting outside, a grill, or if you happen to have a metal table outside, if you have your umbrella up on your table outside in your backyard, I'm sure that's going to get damaged by this as well. So if anything is outside that you can bring inside, if you have a garage somewhere where you can put your car, do so if you're in the path of this storm that is moving up I-85 right now past Gravel Springs. Look at that. I mean, that almost looks like snow, the amount of hail accumulating on the roadway. We don't normally see that a lot of times around here, but certainly that is the case with this cell. It just shows you how strong this thunderstorm was to produce this tornado, the extreme updraft that it has to have to support hail that is that large falling out of it. So again, right now it looks like anywhere up along I-85 from Gravel Springs Road northward up through Hamilton Mill, eventually up through Chateau Alon, and then all the way up into Jackson County for that matter. This storm is just going to continue to roll right along I-85, and if you do live in the path of that storm, you just saw what's headed your way. So you might want to do something about the car.
Yeah, that's some substantial hail. As you pointed out, Jeff, that shows you the power of the updraft to support that large a hailstone and that much hail as well. You start covering the interstate, even on a warm day where you had temperatures in the 70s and you don't see that much melting. That's a pretty intense thunderstorm. And this is the one we've been watching for a better part of an hour and about 20 minutes right now. It's just to the north, the hail core of Hog Mountain. It's the appendage, or the hook that we always look for in reflectivity for the possibility of a tornado and rotation. And you can see that the VTI, the Viper Tornado Index, was at 2.7, sustaining hail at 1.25, or an inch and a quarter. There's Brazelton in the next 16 minutes, or along with Houston, Talmo in 21 minutes, Pendergrass making its way up there into portions of Jackson County in the next 24 minutes as this cell holds together. It looks like that it will. It's had history of that here for the better part of an hour and a half, 2 hours right now, rolling in from Paulding County and into Cobb County. So here you go. Here's the city town of Houston right now. There's Talmo that we just talked about. If you're in Auburn, if you're in Winder, if you're in Decula, in those areas right near the city, those towns, you're fine. You're fine. This storm is to the north of you right now. It's the area just to the outskirts of Houston and I-85 that we have concern about. So I believe that Chateau Alon would be placed about right there, and you can see that's probably the hail, but it's this wind down here to the south of that we were concerned about with the possibility of tornado. Now here's another scan. Again, hail core, the appendage. Right along D. Kennedy Road, there's the Brazelton Highway. Tremendous amount of hail right there, no doubt, coming down, and not only a good rate, but a good size of hail, is inch and a half easily. As Jeff was showing you that video, bouncing around on cars and rooftops and the like. But it's the potential of the wind and the rotating wind that certainly concerns us now in and around that D. Kennedy Road, just to the north of Auburn right now, right in this vicinity, so between Auburn and Hog Mountain. See if we can put some velocity mode on that, one of the tools of the Doppler radar, and we can see if we've got any sort of a rotation with that, Jeff. And again, these are severe thunderstorm warnings exiting the state up here, moving across I-85. And here we are right to the north of Auburn. That's what we look for, the green and the red, the green going toward the radar, the red going away, and not so much. I mean, there's a couplet there, but I'm not too impressed by that's on storm relative velocity. Is that what that, I believe? And so,
okay.
You know, we're not seeing much there. All right, still, there's the possibility that it does exist, and that's why we're talking to you about this now and interrupting your program. This is a potentially dangerous situation. Let's go back into town real quick, Jeff, just to let people know that as it's after the 3 o'clock hour that you still have some weather going on in and around Cobb County and Fulton County, but this is the cell that has now spawned and continues the tornado warning. Here we are, Roswell, Alpharetta. This is just a little bit north of the track that cell just took. This one's a little bit further to the south. That's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of like split where this has been and moving into the Sandy Springs area. So here comes some heavy weather your way, but you don't have any warnings there. There's none for Cobb County, for Fulton County, for DeKalb County. It's now Gwinnett County transitioning on into Jackson County and eventually Banks County up I-85. The storm that's moving into Houston right now, this is the one that has the possibility of a tornado. We're looking for any sort of a confirmation with that, and we haven't seen anything. Understand that in Johns Creek, they're reporting a tree down on Parsons Run Road. So Parsons Run Road tree down. We've had numerous trees down in and around Fulton County, Johns Creek, Roswell area, and then all the way back into Marietta. So the tornado warning now continues for Barrow, Gwinnett. Hall is listed in that, but I believe that they can be eliminated as the storm is to the south there, and Jackson. So it's really Barrow, Gwinnett, and Jackson that we're concerned about. I think I mentioned Banks County earlier. They have a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning in Banks for the possibility of damaging winds and some large hail. And that's that storm up here in northeast Georgia. That's just to the north of I-85, rolling out of Banks County into Stevens County and then crossing the Georgia-South Carolina state line. So here's Jeff has got a storm track on the cell that's up there now 10 minutes away, the core of it into Houston, 10 minutes into Brazelton, 19 minutes into Pendergrass, and that hail probability 80% likely that you're going to see hail 1.5 inches in diameter. That's what the radar is suggesting. By the time it falls, a lot of that gets peeled away, gets melted, and won't be that large, but still anything up over 1 inch constitutes a severe storm, and it can do some damage. So again, there's the hail core, the purple. There's the appendage that we're looking at. Here's a little bit of an inflow. It's not as pronounced as it was earlier this afternoon, but still, nonetheless, it probably has some rotation with it just to the north of Auburn right now. This orange line, that would be I-85. There's Brazelton and Houston. Chateau Lawn would be sitting just about right in here if you've head up that interstate and know where that is. And just to the outskirts now of Hog Mountain. So right along Brazelton Highway, there's where the hail is, and there's I-85, and then the rotation would be just to the south and southwest of that. See this little hanging down right here from the reflectivity. So the storm rotating in this direction right here, making its way towards it. There's another scan updated, and that's a pretty impressive inflow right there. D. Kennedy Road. So if you're in Houston right now, it's time to go to the hail's coming down. That's a great indicator. Hey, I need to go to my tornado safety place. But it looks like that the hail's lifting up this way, and then here comes the rotation right behind it, just to the south of Houston right now, across D. Kennedy Road. So no reports of any damage up that way or in Gwinnett County yet, but they're still filtering in. It took a little bit for it to come in from Fulton County, so we're just waiting on that. So speaking of Gwinnett, we got a train spotter report quarter-size hail. That was the one near Bells Ferry and McGinnis Ferry Road. So the storms there back across that Jeff was showing you in portions of Cobb and North Fulton counties, indicating some pea-size hail now with those cells. This arc right here from Alpharetta down just north of Roswell, and then this cell here kind of firing up again there, Jeff, outside of Sandy Springs. That's looking a little bit more intense and probably supporting some hail. There's some lightning strikes in there as well. This is right at the Cobb Cloverleaf. There's 75 and 285, and it's making its way up to the northeast. So here's our mode of our radars picking that up outside of Smyrna for the possibility of some hail, and we'll see that's 1 inch to ½ inch hail. So by the time that reaches the ground, very clearly could have some pea-sized hail with that storm. Again, no active warning for Cobb County. You're in the clear as far as that goes, but still additional hail, rainfall, and some lightning that way. All right, so go back up here to Brazelton and Houston. There's I-85. Look at this hail. Yeah, 1.5 inches, 1 inch, but that's a large area for 1.5 inches of hail to come down in 1.5 inches hail is pretty large, larger than a golf ball, and you can see it's just to the north of Auburn. So hail with that storm, no doubt, but it's the damaging winds that would be more of a concern as we're seeing winds up to 60 and 70 miles an hour with some of that rotation. Jeff, you have some hail confirmation, perhaps?
We do. We're just showing you it on radar, so let's go show it to you. Well, it looked in Sugar Hill. So even in Sugar Hill, up in parts of northern Gwinnett County, the hail there was very large. Again, that looks to be like what everybody else has been seeing, anywhere from about a quarter size to close to golf ball size hail. That might be a little bit closer to quarter size hail, but that is big. That's significant. That can do a lot of damage. If you've already planted your garden, there may not be much left of it with a hail like that falling up around Chateau Lawn with all the grapes up there at the winery. I'm sure that hail is probably doing quite a bit of damage, unfortunately, to their grapevines with that 1.5 inch diameter hail that's falling up there. So again, David, that storm is all of a sudden starting to look a little more impressive.
Yep, it does. Yeah, just kind of zero in on that because we're starting to see a little bit more. That last scan had a pretty pronounced inflow notch with it. There you go. See how that is dangling down right there? This would be certainly a concern right now. So there's Houston and Brazelton. It's coming your way. So this is a serious situation for you folks there from Gwinnett County moving into Jackson and the Barrow County, where all those counties come together up there around Chateau Lawn for the possibility of a rotating thunderstorm and a tornado. And we're seeing winds that would be in excess then of 80, 90, maybe even 100 miles an hour if that tornado does form. So the VTI, the Viper Tornado Index, at 2.5, hail at 1 inch, but we've seen larger hail than that. And in the next 6 minutes, it's moving into Houston and Brazelton. Now, as we look at this structure right around D. Kennedy Road, you can see that what we're talking about. I mean, you always look for the hail core, and that's pronounced, but it's this that concerns us right here for the possibility of a tornado as it makes its way this direction, kind of moving off to the east, so just to the south of Houston right now and D. Kennedy Road. We're waiting on another scan of that. If we can pop that down into the velocity mode there, perhaps, Jeff, maybe we can see some sort of a couplet indicating to us some rotation. It's there we go. It's a little bit brighter there. Yeah, see that? So yeah, that is a little bit more pronounced now north of Auburn right now as we see this rotation going on here as the radar picks up the hydrometeors and formulates which direction they're moving. So you start getting this twisting like that with these two couplets right next to one another in this particular scan. It's very, very impressive. So if this we'll have to watch this, Jeff. This gets kind of bright green, then we know we've got something fairly significant right now. Do you think you can query that? Yeah, see, it's just, that's 23. You need this one to start getting up there. That's getting toward the radar site, coming toward the radar site at 5, and then the red moving away at 23. That's not impressive. What is impressive, though, is there is some rotation right there. And again, the radar beam shooting that up 1,000 so feet off the ground, and we need to see what's going on down the ground, waiting on some sort of a ground truth. We've already seen some trees down in the wake of this storm back across Cobb County, Fulton County, and Gwinnett County as it makes its way to the east, 35, 40 miles an hour. So this is the cell that we're talking about there with the active tornado warning for about the next 20 minutes or so. Houston getting the hail. There's the appendage. There's the possibility of the rotation just to the north of Auburn right now. So if you're in the Auburn community between Auburn and Houston and you're hearing my voice, time now for your tornado safety place. If you're south of Auburn, if you're in Hog Mountain now, you're fine. If you're in Beaufort, that area of Gwinnett County, you're all clear. Ditto for any other areas of Lawrenceville and Snellville. So if you've got kids at school, Lawrenceville and Snellville and Lilburn, any place in Gwinnett County, they're fine. As far as letting out of school and the school buses running and so forth, it's this area up around Mill Creek High School that I would certainly have things on hold right now as the storm leaves your area, heads now towards Jefferson and Commerce, moving on into Jackson County. So Doug Evans, I understand, has some more information for us. Doug, what do you have?
Well, we're continuing to get pictures of hail in all over the area. Again, this is hail from Gainesville, hail from Martin's Landing in Roswell. Just yards covered with hail as if it were snow. Dave, it's likely that we're going to see a great deal of hail damage throughout the area in a line from Marietta going up toward the northeast through Alpharetta and Roswell and Swanee, Johns Creek. No doubt that the insurance companies will be moving in over the next few days and taking reports from individuals who are filing claims, both for their roofs and their cars, getting pictures too of the ominous skylines that people are seeing out there. Just a lot of hail. It could be that hail damage, we're certainly seeing some wind damage, but it could be, David, that hail damage is the most widespread and the most destructive part of this storm system yet, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, certainly we're looking at some winds bringing trees and power lines down, but you're exactly right. We've had such large reports of, and many reports of hail covering a large area. It's going to be interesting to look at the hail swath there as it rolled from Marietta all the way through Fulton County into Gwinnett and now moving into Jackson and northern Barrow County, that we could see tremendous amount of damage, as Doug was pointing out, to roofs and to cars, as well as the wind damage due to this storm. So Jeff Hill is driving Fox 5 Live Viper, and you can see that this particular cell here, the one that is really held together, they're giving us the most problems. There's the hail core now has moved off to the east of Houston and Brazelton. The appendage is still there just to the north of D. Kennedy Road, just to the outskirts of Houston right now. And you see this little indentation right now as the storm wraps around itself. So that probably going to continue the tornado warning as it moves out of Gwinnett County and into portions of Barrow and Jackson County. I'm sure that warning is going to be extended by the National Weather Service. With the storm looking like this, it would have to change here rapidly in the next couple of scans for them to drop that particular warning. So if you broaden the picture just out a little bit there, Jeff, because if you're down in Winder, you're fine. You're not in the warning. It's just to the north of Winder. So you might be in Barrow County and your tornado siren is going off, or your weather radio is going off. Yes, you need to pay attention, but if you're in Winder and point southward, you're fine. This storm is to your north and moving on into Jackson County. So Jefferson, you're next under the gun with this particular cell. You see some severe thunderstorm warnings. That's the yellow boxes flashing up here out of Banks County into Franklin County and Stevens County, moving up into the upstate of South Carolina. So what we're looking at, let's see, we got new information. That's the tornado warning now is going to continue for Jackson County, portions of Banks County, and Madison County. So just what I was talking about, the National Weather Service is going to extend, and they just did, that tornado warning in this direction. So it does not include Athens. Athens, you're fine. It's to the north of Athens, and it's really kind of now just to the core of the storm, just to the south of I-85, heading up into South Carolina. So this is the storm that now a little bit more pronounced hook right there, Jeff. This is the latest scan, I think. Let's put a track on that guy right there and see what we see. Hail at 90%, inch and a quarter into Jefferson now in 14 minutes, 15 minutes into Arcade, 20 minutes in Apple Valley, 21 minutes in Brockton. As we kind of move from a densely populated area like Fulton County and Gwinnett County, now we're moving on into the more less populated area of Jackson County and northern Barrow County. The Viper tornado index on that storm now at 2.7. That's on a scale of 1 to 10. And what we look for is a little bit of growth in that, indicating the possibility higher of a tornado, or if it starts dropping off down into the ones, that would tell us that unlikely to have a tornado. And we've seen it at times high as 8 and 9 when we have these huge tornado outbreaks. This isn't that case today. Not all these storms are going to spawn this, but this particular one decided it wanted to back across Marietta and Cobb County. About an hour and a half ago, Jeff Hill and I were monitoring. It was a severe thunderstorm warning. We didn't like the look of it. And so we came on the air to bring you that information that we thought it was a pretty dangerous storm in a heavily populated area. And then the National Weather Service concurred, and they met their warning criteria, and they issued the tornado warning right before 2 o'clock. So apologize for interrupting any of your programming, but this is a very potentially dangerous situation, and we're going to let you know where it is and where it's headed so you can make the decisions to be safe. Find your tornado safety place up here in Jackson County, Barrow County, basement, interior room, closet, bathroom, someplace, again, from windows and doors, and we separate ourselves from as many walls of the exterior. And of course, with the kids and yourself, a bike helmet is a great thing to have to protect yourself, protect your head. That's where most injuries and ultimately fatalities come from in these weather events, of something getting thrown or hit into your head. So here we go. This is Fox 5 Live Viper at 3:20 and 3:21 in the afternoon. Watching this particular cell now just to the northeast of Houston. And the possibility does exist there of a tornado. So this tornado warning now has been extended, as we said, for Banks in Jackson and Madison County until 4 o'clock. It's still moving off to the east at 35 miles an hour. This severe thunderstorm has been capable of producing that tornado that we saw there over Houston, and it's just to the north of Winder. But Winder, you're fine. Let's see, the strongest circulation right along the Barrow-Jackson County line, 3 miles to the south of Brazelton. And they're saying that the heavy rain and the large hail, of course, is just to the outskirts of Jefferson right now, and that is the hail core that we've seen is large. Hail as large as 2 to 3 inches in diameter, and that is certainly substantial. And Jeff Hill and I have been looking at that just about all afternoon. Jeff was with you on Fox 5 News at noon when these storms were kind of their infant stage, and as he said, in that hour's time, they just kind of exploded with some heating of the day, and then presto, we had ourselves a whole slew of severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we've added this one tornado warning that has just been kind of marching across the top end. So back up across the top end there, Jeff, and there you see some pictures from the Fox 5 Storm Chaser now. Somebody tell me where that might be as we're traveling. All right, it's in North Fulton County right now, heading to some of those damage reports we talked about with trees down in around the Johns Creek and Roswell area. So here we go. This cell here now is on the top end perimeter. Had the possibility of some hail. So remember we were showing you the King and Queen building earlier and you were in the clear. Well, this isn't a severe storm, but now you're kind of getting pounded, probably with some pea-sized hail there in and around Perimeter Mall and just to the south of Dunwoody. Hail as large as a ½ inch. So yeah, I would expect that to melt a little bit, but so pea-sized, dime-sized hail probably falling down on the ground. And that particular cell is making its way toward Dunwoody in 3 minutes, Dorville in 8, Norcross in 14, and Duluth in 21 minutes. Here comes another cell your way. Not severe in nature, but go back to that, Jeff, just for a second. A little interesting, little structure with that. Starting to get a bit of maybe a rotation with it, a little kidney bean shape, but it doesn't look like its predecessor, but we'll certainly have an eye on that here in the next little bit for the possibility of a severe thunderstorm warning if the hail gets large enough. That's one of the criteria, 1-inch hail or 58 mile an hour or greater winds. So that's what the Weather Service would have to check out on this storm to make it a severe thunderstorm warning there in portions of the DeKalb and Fulton and eventually Gwinnett County. So we'll keep an eye certainly on that storm rolling out of Sandy Springs just to the south of Dunwoody. The matter in hand, though, has been this tornado warning ongoing now for the last hour and about 45 minutes. And you can see this is the best this storm has looked. Wouldn't you agree, Jeff, over the past little bit as it kind of gets now elongated? There's the hail, but we're not seeing so much of that appendage anymore.
Right. Yeah, it got a little ragged there for a while. It kind of broke down, but it does have, as you were saying, that more that kidney bean shape and a little bit of that indentation there just north of Winder Highway. So maybe it's getting its act together again, and it may start to...
yeah, as you know, these things will cycle through, and they just won't be the same minute by minute and hour by hour, and they'll kind of morph themselves. So perhaps it is. We'll see with the next scan what it looks like. I understand meteorologist Doug Evans also has some information for us, probably some more hail verification across the area. And Doug, some of this hail has been rather large.
It has been. We're looking at this video right now from Rob near Brazelton and 211 87 and 85. Let me play it for you. Boy, it was really coming down there, both in rain and hail. Look at the water running off his driveway. Look at all the hailstones. That appears to be about a ½ inch in size there. Just incredible. We're getting lots of these kinds of videos in, David. This is Buford about 15 minutes ago. Leanna shared this video, the hailstones coming down there. Lots of video also of the dark and ominous skies that have been showing up all over Metro Atlanta. Buford and Flowery Branch, this was sent in 10 minutes ago from Kristen. You can see the hailstones falling there as well. Again, this appears to be about a ½ inch in nature. This looks like some wind damage here, David. You see a lot of limbs down. You see a lot of trees and that sort of thing, tree limbs, I should say, and now starting to get some of the video of the trees and the limbs that are coming down as a result of the high winds associated with this storm system.
Yeah, Doug, no doubt seeing that hail. Hey, take a look at this image. We showed you the King and Queen building earlier where it wasn't all that bad, but boy, it looks kind of rough out there right now as you're seeing some heavy rain and some pea-sized hail there right at 285 and Georgia 400 and some lightning strikes, I would think, as well. So it's just starting to really mess up the afternoon commute there on the top end because that's going to be a tremendous amount of ponding on the roadways. And keep in mind, all the rain that we've had lately, the soil is saturated. So these things are producing, in addition to possibility of damaging winds, possibility of a tornado, possibility of hail. Flooding is a real issue with this in that not so much of damaging flooding, but flooding that's going to cause problems with driving because the water has nowhere to go. The ground is that saturated. So I think we're seeing probably quite a bit of runoff. So yeah, heavy rain with this and hail. This is the cell that's up now moving into Jackson County, just north of Barrow County, and making its way towards Jefferson. That had the possibility of a tornado for a long period right now. And we're seeing that the hail core now just to the outskirts and to the northeast of Brazelton. And we're seeing that not so much of the inflow notch of the appendage of the storm. It's kind of flattened out a little bit here as it's this is I-85, that road right there. And so now we're making our way towards, I can't read that road, whatever that might be, Stacy Lane, something like that there in Jackson County. So be on the lookout. Wind, large hail, and heavy downpours with this. So you don't have to be in and around that hail core to see even just some small hail. Now this latest scan, look at that. It's updated higher reflectivity, so that is fairly large hail. Just now up to 2 inches in diameter, 90% probability that is going to happen just to the southeast of Pendergrass right now, just to the northwest of Jefferson. This is downtown Jefferson right now. I think this is Highway 129 coming off the interstate. Going into Jefferson, that's where the hail is. It's the area to the south there that we have the possibility of the damaging winds, but we're certainly not seeing that. Boy, look at that high reflectivity, that unbelievable. But we've seen that with this cell all afternoon long supporting that much hail. So that's how strong those updrafts are to bring that up into the clouds. So Jeff's putting a query on that right now, driving Fox 5 Live Viper. And there we go, 1.5 inches to 1 inch to ½ inch diameter. But look at the huge area in the real estate that this would cover all the way from Pendergrass to Jefferson. It's hailing. Now, a lot of times we get some of these storms, pulse storms in the summertime where they're fairly small. In other words, it'd be just like right there. There's a really large hail core right there, no doubt, with this cell that's made its way all across Metro Atlanta. So go back down into that cell that we showed you from the King and Queen building just outside of Perimeter Mall, and you can see this is going to be some large hail now firing up, and we'll have to watch, see if the Weather Service is looking at that as far as the possibility of a warning. Right now they're just saying pea-sized hail and 35-mile-an-hour winds for that storm right there. They were looking at the strongest circulation up in the Pendergrass storm right now between Jefferson and Arcade. That's where that cell is headed to right now. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings up I-85. Showers and thunderstorms still on the top end perimeter. You folks there and point southbound, you're fine. You're in the clear right now. We'll have to watch for that area firing up, maybe a few thunderstorms later this afternoon and first part of the evening. But right now, you're in the clear. You can see some storms that are down towards Putnam County and Morgan County. They're just below our banner. They're not severe by nature, but they're still thunderstorms nonetheless. It's this that had the tornado warning that started in Cobb, through Fulton, Gwinnett, now transitioned into portions of Jackson and Barrow County, making its way up I-85 for the possibility of a tornado. We've had no damage reports. We've had trees down, trees down on power lines. Don't have any reports from the power companies of how many people are out without power, but I'm sure that is a strong possibility. So here's the cell now just to the northwest of Jefferson with the large hail core, but we don't see that appendage, Jeff, anymore than what we saw earlier this afternoon. So that certainly prompted the warning. Now, your areas around Talmo, Houston, yeah, you're still under the tornado warning, but the storm has passed and moved through you. You're fine. Gwinnett County, you're in the clear right now, so the kids can make their way home from school. There's the hail estimated in that storm in around 2 inches, with the Viper Tornado Index right around 2.6 on that scale of 1 to 10, and the storm track brings it just inside, just to the north of Jefferson in 7 minutes, Apple Valley in 13, Brockton in 14, Commerce up there towards the outlet malls in 19 minutes into the northern part of Jackson County. Jeff, what sort of information do you have for us?
We're going to show you some video from Russ Spencer, who was out at Johns Creek today, and he shot some video for you of the hail that was falling out there. That looks maybe like that was about pea-size hail at best, but enough definitely to cover the ground. Maybe marble-size hail, enough to cover the ground. And we just got a report from Barrow County. Barrow County firefighter reported nickel-size hail in and around Brazelton in Barrow County, accumulating 1 to 2 inches on the ground. That's a lot of hail. That looks like, I mean, you could argue that that's about a ½ inch to maybe an inch in some spots accumulating on the ground. So it is very interesting that we're getting that much hail out of these storms as they come through, and they've got enough of that lift. But if they have enough of that lift, then that's why we have to, as meteorologists, pay attention to these things, because it means there's strong storms out there.
Yeah, well, the updrafts are that strong to support that hailstone, that many trips up into the cloud to get that large. Certainly that garners our attention. All right, so here's the latest scan right now, and here's the hail core. Here's this appendage, although it's kind of curving the wrong way. We want to see the hook more this way to see more of an inflow, but interesting though that this is kind of hanging back right here. As we said, in between Jefferson and Arcade. That's exactly what the National Weather Service was just looking at moments ago as they contemplate the warning now being continued. So let's bring you up to date. We're with you because of a potentially dangerous weather situation with this cell that's had the possibility of a tornado. Started in a very heavily populated area in and around Marietta and Cobb County, and it stayed together right across Cobb and Fulton and Gwinnett. Now you're done. You're done with the severe threat there, although there in DeKalb County and northern and southern Gwinnett County, you're still seeing another cell that's fired up some pea-sized hail and some gusty winds up to 35, 40 miles an hour perhaps. But the possibility of a rotating thunderstorm is now moved off to your northeast and up I-85. Just to the north of Jefferson right now. So let's kind of zero in. Put a new storm track on that, Jeff. Just it looked like it updated right there. There's the hail. Man, oh man, yeah. Look at the hail now up to 2¼ inches. That's really showing you the updraft right there. I mean, that's getting close to that baseball size hail, and where the Viper Tornado Index is ticked up just a little bit to 2.8. So this storm certainly bears watching. Moving into Apple Valley in 7 minutes. Commerce now in 13. 5 Points Community in 20, Rogers in 23, and Hicks in 23 up there in northeast Georgia. So this is kind of moving out of the metro Atlanta area and moving into northeast Georgia right along I-85. That's I-85. Here's Commerce. There's Maysville. It's moved out of the Talmo area. Isla, Danielsville, that's in Madison County. You see Colbert and Comer just to the north of Athens right now. So this is now moving. There's Commerce. And again, the outlet mall is sitting right out there along I-85. So here comes some hail. Looks like it's going to stay just to the south of that. And we're watching that appendage right there coming out of Jefferson, between Jefferson and Arcade, that certainly gave us concern. We've had reports of trees down in places in and around Marietta, into Johns Creek, into Roswell. Waiting on some more reports out of Gwinnett County as the storm has moved from west to east, and it makes its way up into northeast Georgia. We've had numerous reports, and Doug Evans and Jeff and the news team have been sharing that with you as far as all the hail and the hail accumulations. And the size of the hail is also the depth of the hail. We saw that on the roadways. It was just very, very impressive there in parts of North Georgia. So we continue to get those reports in. And let's see, nickel-sized hail there in Brazelton. and it covered, how about this, in Brazelton, we're understanding from the emergency manager up there that it covered the ground with 1 to 2 inches of hail. And Jeff, we saw that in Russ Spencer's video. It kind of looked very similar to that when you start getting that much hail and you start getting depth and it looks like snow almost. But 1 to 2 inches of hail that's nickel size, pretty intense thunderstorm, no doubt. So Jeff now manning Fox 5 Live Viper, and if we head back downstream, there's that cell that's one's erupted inside the perimeter right now. We also have one now in Gwinnett County that has in and around Norcross that has the possibility of pea-size hail and 35-mile-an-hour winds. This one's just growing. We'll keep an eye on that because that's in an environment that hadn't been raked over yet. It hadn't been stabilized. Hail in this cell here in Gwinnett County at 3/4 of an inch now. The VTI up to 2.4, and it's moving into Norcross as we speak now, and into Duluth now in 14 minutes, Pleasant Hill in 14, Gwinnett Place Mall in 15. That area has been hit already with one of these cells. Here comes the next one, just a little bit further to the south, I think, than what that one went through, but almost parallel in it. And so we'll keep an eye on that one as it grows or intensifies. So. All right, yeah, Brazelton, we understand we have some video of that hail that we were talking about where it was nickel size and we had depths of 1 to 2 inches. So this is from a viewer out there in Brazelton. We appreciate you sharing that with us through our Fox 5 Facebook page and also myfoxatlanta.com. We love seeing this. Just do it safely. We don't want anybody to get hurt. Don't do anything risky. But certainly it's interesting and it's ground truth for us and verification of what we're seeing on our Fox 5 Live Viper. So the hail continues to fall there for a good bit in Brazelton. Now you're getting a bit of a break, and that cell has moved up into Jefferson, between Jefferson and Commerce. There's the hail core. There is the appendage right there that we continue to watch for the possibility of some circulation and the possibility of a rotating thunderstorm. The next scan that we just had there, Jeff, kind of flattened out again. Your eye goes to the purple of the hail core, but not much going on there outside of Jefferson. There you go. Now, we do look, though, something like this, where you go from the green to that red in short order. That to indicate maybe some outflow, some pretty strong wind. Prompted a severe thunderstorm warning early on, 60-mile-an-hour plus wind. So, yeah, you can have some wind damage with this, even though you don't have a tornado per se, but you will have winds up to 60 miles an hour. Tornado and the rotating thunderstorm would certainly elevate that, say, 20, 30 miles an hour up to 80, 90 or so very, very easily, and that would be a concern. And that's why we're staying with you as far as the tornado warning that the Weather Service has extended up into Jackson County, into Madison County, and also portions of Banks County. So let's see, we're getting now reporting golf ball size hail in Jefferson, right along a Story Porter Road, and golf ball size hail there. So yes, certainly verification that that's what the radar is picking up. Jeff, you have something? Oh, I'm sorry, Doug. Doug's got something for us.
David, some impressive video out of Johns Creek. Take a look at this. A combination of both the hail and the high winds blowing the hail through the doorway of this store. This appears to be a Kroger store in Johns Creek. The hail coming inside, an employee comes and closes the door. Imagine what those poor people inside are going through as they take shelter inside the store, looking out at their automobiles out in that parking lot with all that hail falling. The lady who shot this is going to pick up some of that hail here in just a second and give us a good comparison of what it is. And it appears to be about pea-size hail there falling in Johns Creek earlier this afternoon.
And Doug, we appreciate the video, but let's point out, we should say, you see the Kroger employee shut the door. He should have then stepped, he doesn't need to be standing right there next to all that glass. You know, let's kind of help educate some folks. Yeah, look at all that glass. You need to get away from that because you don't know some of these winds and picks up something and then boom, you know, the glass is penetrated by something, and you know we don't want any of that happening. So we appreciate the video, and that's awesome. But be sure that you stay away from glass like that. You need to get back from that. Stand back, give yourself some room. Certainly, we don't want anybody to get hurt. We love the video, but be smart about it. We want to put you on the news for the right reasons. Certainly. All right. So here you go. There's the hail up here in Jackson County now between Jefferson and Commerce, and then the elongation of this reflectivity, trying to find where we could see some sort of an appendage, some sort of an inflow notch. And Jeff, we're just not seeing that now. It hasn't had that look or that characteristic now for the better part of 10 or 15 minutes. Great news. Still going to get some damaging winds with this and still get some hail, but we're not seeing the possibility of a tornado there between Jefferson and Arcade like we did about 10 minutes ago. So again, it's left the Houston area. Talmo, this is up in northeast Georgia, well north of Athens. There's Nicholson there in Madison County, so it's to the north of that, even bearing down on Commerce as far as the hail is concerned. And the hail we've seen anywhere from 2 to as large as 2.5 inches with this particular storm. And as Doug Evans has pointed out, that can do all sorts of damage to roofs and to automobiles. And I think we're going to see that in a large swath of it because it's been going on now for almost nearly 2 hours with this one particular cell. And we're waiting on some more confirmation. So let's see. So the Weather Service says they're continuing that tornado warning for Banks, Jackson, and Madison County for the next little bit. What time? For at least the next 20 minutes. And that is a possible tornado that was over Jefferson, moving to the east at 35. So there we go. That's now outside of Jefferson. It would be this area that they're looking at. It'd be interesting to see if we can pop on the velocity on that and just give an idea of what if we have any sort of a couplet up there in northeast Georgia. And we're seeing a little bit of rotation right there in between Jefferson and Arcade. See what we're looking at right there? See where this the green and the red come together? You get that moving away, moving toward, and get some of that rotation work in there in Jefferson outside of Commerce. So this is in the velocity mode of the radar, one of the Doppler components that we look at. So we'll go back to reflectivity, and we'll show you that up here across northeast Georgia, the storms are moving into really South Carolina as we speak. And this cell here, still have an eye on it there in Norcross, and we'll put a storm track on that as it makes its way off to the east and to the northeast. And this had the potential with some hail. Just had a new updated scan right there. All right, hail at 3/4 of an inch. That is certainly something that is concerning. That's fairly large hail, getting up near severe limits. Duluth in 2 minutes, Discover Mills in 7, Coolray Field in 16 minutes. Here we go as far as that hail is concerned. Yeah, Jeff, what you got there?
We're going to look at some 3D.
All right,
of that storm that's up in Jackson?
The storm in Jackson, what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of go into the storm three-dimensionally, almost like an MRI of the storm, show you the components. And what we're looking at here on the storm is the updraft, and that's the purple. And this is going up this direction. Can you see this bearing right here? You see where we're going, how high we're going with this storm? With that high reflectivity going up above 30,000 feet, the storm itself topping out about 45,000 feet. That is a significant, even higher than that. That's you start getting these little penetrating tops right there. But this is really impressive, indicating that there's a large core of the storm. That's where the hail's going up, topping up into the freezing level, up to around minus 20 degrees Celsius. That's where you get the real hail forming, and then it starts falling down on the ground. Well, what happens is the updraft of the storm shoves it right back up into the cloud, up into that cold air again, and you get more water on top of that hailstone, and then it starts falling again. And if the updraft's strong enough, guess what? It shoves it back up into the cloud. And as many trips as it takes, the hailstone gets larger and larger. Finally, the updraft can't support it, and it falls as hail. Well, you can imagine the updraft potential that you see if you've got penny-size hail or dime-size hail versus those golf ball and baseball-size hail that we've seen across North Georgia here this afternoon. So very, very impressive here with our three-dimensional look, kind of like an MRI inside the thunderstorm. And you can kind of see the anvil top here rolling off here. There was this higher reflectivity, certainly. Very, very impressive there with our three-dimensional radar. All right, so we'll go back to a conventional radar, which you're used to seeing. That's the storm here in Norcross that we're looking at that has the potential for some more hail as it makes its way through Gwinnett County in a highly populated area. Not severe by nature, but certainly a cause as we get into the afternoon rush hour of putting that much more water and hail on the roadways, really messing up traffic along I-85 and eventually the 985-85 split in Gwinnett County. Headed upstream now as we go back up to where this tornado warning is now, leaving the Jefferson area, still in Jackson County, bearing down on Commerce right now. but it doesn't have that kidney bean shape anymore, does it, Jeff? It's just looking like just a severe thunderstorm as far as the hail size is concerned and the potential with some wind. Doesn't mean that within that rain we can't see the rotation, and that's what happens with some of these cells now. You get those rain-wrapped tornadoes, and you can quickly get something spin up in the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then you find yourself in some trouble. So that's why in this area in Jackson County between Jefferson and Commerce, I'm certainly in my tornado safety place right now. Not so much back into Colbert, Danielsville. Yeah, you're under the warning, but that cell's not coming your way. It's going to be well up to the north of you. So
just we haven't got any reports of that yet, but is holding together. Saying on the radar right now, the storm does not look as tornadic as it did before. It just looks like a plain old nasty severe thunderstorm capable of producing a lot. Doesn't mean it couldn't be rotating. The National Weather Service is saying right now that the best rotation looks to be heading toward the Nicholson area about 5 minutes out from now. So that, I mean, they sit there and they scan all up and down and all around. So
yeah, they give several different what we call volume scans of the storm. So they're just not at the low level. They're going up several levels, and they can pick out where there's going to be some rotation they think is making its way down to the ground eventually. So that's certainly prompted their warning there, and continuation of the warning now in Jackson County, moving up into Madison County and portions of Banks County. But as I said, when we're dealing with a severe weather situation like this, you need to make sure that you have a way to get the warnings. And we said earlier, and it had a Facebook message from somebody, they didn't hear the sirens. Well, sirens is old antiquated technology. Sirens are only there for you to hear if you're do not rely on sirens as your only method of hearing any sort of weather warnings. Not all communities even have them, but they're made for people outside to hear it. Inside your building, inside your school, inside your car even, you can't hear it. You need to find a way to get your warning, and certainly the best way is through our Fox 5 app, Severe Storm app, but also just through the computer or through a weather radio. You can get the warnings immediately, and therefore then you can make your assessment of what you need to do. And I point that out because not all, Jackson County, yes, you're under a tornado warning, but now the folks in Jefferson, you can come out of your tornado safety place. The storm has passed you. It's more for Commerce right now. Madison County, yes, you're in the warning, but Danielsville, you're fine. Isla, you're fine. In the communities there to the north of Athens, you're okay. It's just this cell right now bearing down on Commerce that has the concern. So you can see a couple more cells lined up behind that down I-85, not severe in nature, but producing probably gusty winds, heavy downpours, and some small nonetheless. But it's the storm that we've been tracking for 2 hours now that had the potential of tornado. We've had some damage reports of trees down over roads, trees down on power lines, and our news crews are out there checking those things out, and we certainly want to confirm them to you, and we will obviously with the team coverage coming up, full newscast at 5 o'clock tonight. So just stay with us. I know we're interrupted your program, understand that, but these are situations that demand this, because this is a dangerous situation with the possibility of a tornado still moving into a fairly populated area. If you're heading out that way, I know some folks are down towards Madison, Greensboro, north of Lake Oconee, certainly let them know that that's pretty good rain maker for them. So we've also seen some showers there down I-75 just to the south of Butts County and outside of Barnesville. So just some rain there. We don't want to neglect anybody, but we certainly go to the area that is has an inundation area. When it was up there, it was a large area. This is fairly small here, but that still could be 1 inch to 3/4 inch hail between Norcross and Duluth that has fallen here in the last 10 or 15 minutes. So the active tornado warning now has shifted all the way up into northeast Georgia. And look at this hail core now just north of Jefferson and Commerce. Boy, that's probably going to be some 2-inch hail, no doubt about it. And as it makes its way to the ground in and around Malvey Road and Commerce Road, it's going to be some really some damage there on some vehicles. 2-inch, 1.5-inch hail. But look at the size of that swath that you see there of 1.5-inch hail between Apple Valley Road all the way into downtown Jefferson. So very large hail core, indicating us very strong updraft. You start getting those updrafts, you start getting some shear in the atmosphere with this cell. That's the wind changing speed and direction with height. That's the rotation that we talk about, and that's what we saw earlier with that storm about 2 hours ago as it was over Marietta. And we didn't like the look of that, so Jeff Hill and I decided that we were going to tell you about it. All right, look at this, Jeff. One of the highest VTIs that we've seen on that particular cell there. And even though the structure looked ragged, but the VTI, the Viper Tornado Index, a scale of 1 to 10, now up to a 3.9. It was hanging in the 2s, kind of ramped up to 3.9. That's something we don't like to see. hail the size of an 1.5 inches in diameter, and moving into downtown Commerce right now. 5 Points community in 7 minutes, Alvin in 11 minutes, Fort Lamar in 15, Shiloh community in 18. You get the idea as it moves into Jackson County and the northern sections of that county, and you see the hail now has moved and shifted up into Commerce. Right there's downtown Commerce right now. This is I-85 right here, this orange line. That's where all the outlet malls are there. And then you see Commerce, and then here comes the hail moving into Isla Road right now. So Weather Service, we were talking about the rotation being between Jefferson and Arcade about 15 minutes ago, bearing down on Nicholson there. And you can see that tornado warning there moves also out of into portions of Madison County, but the northern part of that. So there's Isla, there's Danielsville. Here is the possible rotation now just to the north of Nichols. You can see that a little bit of a couplet right there, Jeff, I think, that they're looking at. This one, probably right there, yeah?
Yep, probably.
All right, so we query that. That's moving away from the radar site, so it's moving away. The radar site's back down here, and this is moving toward, so you start seeing that twisting, rotating there. And that could possibly very well be a tornado if it's obviously in contact with the ground, just a rotating thunderstorm or a funnel cloud if it doesn't. But there's been concern that we could see that transition into the tornado mode, and that's why we've had the tornado warning for the better part of a couple hours now. So let's see, we've got, so yeah, they continue that tornado warning. They say that it's located right near Nicholson. That's exactly what you were looking like there at Fox 5 Live Viper, and it's moving still to the east at 35 miles an hour. So yeah, just to the north of the community of Isla. I still think Danielsville is fine. It's north of Nicholson. And there you go, the hail core right along Isla Road as we're looking Commerce. There's Homer Road. That heads out to the interstate, so off to the east. There's the hail. And look at the gradient here between the purple and the green in short order. Probably pretty good outflow wind going on at 60 miles an hour. And you can get that out of these thunderstorms. Remember, you got all this updraft going up, and then you got the rain falling, and that's cooling. And a lot of times that rain is that in concert with the updraft comes down to the ground. Boy, it just comes down to the ground and fans out, and you can get a pretty good push of wind with that up to 60 miles an hour, and that's what prompts this severe thunderstorm warning. But this has a tornado warning into it because we have the possibility of rotation with the cell. So something that we've been watching now all afternoon. So there's the hail. There's Nicholson, there's Commerce, and there's the storm, again, moving off to the east. We've had numerous reports of very large hail covering the ground as much as 1 to 2 inches in depth. Size of the hail, anywhere from a nickel to a quarter. We've seen pictures and reports of maybe a little bit larger than that, and we certainly want to see your verification. Do it very safely, but you can send it to Fox 5 Facebook page, also myfoxatlanta.com. We'd love to see your pictures and videos. Remember, if you're taking a video of something and you have your phone, you need to turn it sideways or landscape. Make video for us to air. Well, we appreciate any sort of video, but if you take your phone and turn it sideways, it gives us great pictures. So there we go. There's some hail there. Yeah, that's in North Fulton County. It looks like we could be in wintertime, and that's snow. I mean, look at isn't that crazy looking? Look how the thickness of that.
Shoveling?
Yeah, he's shoveling the snow, shoveling the hail. And we see how it's kind of pooled there into that parking lot, indicating that was a whole lot of hail in short order, no doubt about it, there in portions of Fulton County. So that's at a Publix store up there in North Fulton County, all right? So there you go. And you can see now, look what happened. The hail came, and the person is out there doing this, and the sun's out, obviously, because you can see a shadow. That's pretty wild. That's what you get with these storms, because they're just a single storm, and then they kind of move on out. And we're seeing that here on Fox 5 Live Viper. So they've lined up now like planes at Hartsfield. This one's not severe there in northern Lawrenceville, northern Gwinnett County, but it's still got some heavy rain to it, maybe a couple lightning strikes. And we're looking at the downpours continuing on areas that have already been rained on, so some flooding is some issue. Heading back towards the Houston area, see the lightning strikes in this view, 12 in the last 10 minutes. Talmo there, north of Jefferson, and then you move up into the tornado warning area of Jackson County, northern Madison County, making its way up into the I-85 way. So there you go. There's the hail core, very, very very pronounced there. Understand we got some video out of Commerce. Is that what we're hearing already? Look at this. All right. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Look at the trees there swaying in the wind. No doubt. This is in Commerce in Jackson County. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's thank you for that video. And trying to do it very, very safely, staying away from windows. Got some great nat sound to it. You can hear the wind. And I think Doug Evans has got some more information on that. Doug, what do you have?
We've got some more video out of Commerce on our Facebook page. If we can take that, and you can see the amount of hail that is falling is just incredible. That hail core passing over Commerce just about 5 minutes ago. Look at this video of this hail. It's knocking the leaves off the trees, and it's just coming down in sheets. Just incredible. Play it for you one more time. Large hailstones coming down abundantly, knocking the leaves off the trees there. Just incredible.
Yeah, that was something else. That just happened because
Just a few minutes ago, David.
How many?
Just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, just a few. Here in Northeast Georgia, and it's important for you to know is that this is from the National Weather Service office here that covers Metro Atlanta out of Peachtree City. Now, once this moves up here into Franklin County, you folks that are in Franklin County, Stevens County, you're covered by the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg. So we'll have to see what they are going to say about that particular storm. But we are going to see the hail core of this move now towards Fort Lamar as we speak. So just to the north of Isla, and we're going to continue our coverage of this particular situation for the next few minutes because we want to certainly let the folks know in our viewing audience, which Jackson County and just outside of Commerce is, that the storm now has left your particular area. So you can see there with that track, Jeff Hills, our site itself, and the radar beam, of course, doesn't hug the ground. It's northeast metro area, the one north of Lawrenceville, heading toward Hog Mountain. Again, you're thinking, hey, we just had a storm. Well, here comes another one. It's not as intense, but still some small. Still dealing with some lightning and some heavy downpours. Now, as the situation is improving as far as the active tornado warnings, we're certainly going to be collecting data. We're going to have we're going to continue our weather coverage on YouTube and our Fox 5 weather app for more information, and we're going to stay live with you there. But in the meantime, we're going to, in a moment, take it back to our regular programming. We've got news crews fanned out covering the situation where the downed trees are, the hail reports, and of course, we're going to have complete coverage coming up on Fox 5 News at Fox 5 News at 5. Understand that it's a severe thunderstorm warning now up here transitioning into northeast Georgia. Good news, no longer a tornado warning. So, Jeff, that's good. We've been with it for over 2 hours right now. That was a cell that we saw early on that we didn't like the looks of it, and we came on the air to let people know in a highly populated area that you needed to take shelter. So we're interested to see if there's something manifested there as far as damage across Marietta and portions of Cobb County. Have anything to add? You good?
I think I'm good.
All right.
Great job.
All right, so we're going to be, again, collecting data. Fox 5 News crews are all about the area. We're going to have complete team.
Probably the biggest component with these storms. Right now, that storm system is still showing hail up to 1.5 inches in diameter. 1 inch in diameter and 1/2 inch diameter on the outer fringes. But right now, outside of Commerce, you can expect some very large hail to continue and a large area of hail to continue as that storm makes its way up to the north and east. So putting a track on the storm, if you do live down toward the Fort Lamar area, it's going to be in your area within about 8 minutes. So within 8 minutes, you're going to have quite a bit of hail on the ground. Could do some damage to cars that are left outside. So make sure you can, if you can, bring your car in. Make sure you cover up anything or bring inside anything that could get damaged by the hail. And if you have planted your garden already, your vegetable garden, this so far for the summer, make sure you cover it up. If you're, well, now you're just basically seeing a strong thunderstorm moving through. That could have some hail with it, though. So if you do live in the Decula area, stretching all the way up toward Hog Mountain, out toward Auburn, out along Auburn Road, 324 there, and also continuing maybe just to the north of Winder and up toward Houston, you've got that coming your way. You've got the possibility of some hail moving through that region of Gwinnett County as well as over into Barrow County. That will skip up into Jackson County, eventually up toward Houston, where they're starting to see that rain coming down again, and then it extends all the way up through Jefferson and outside of Talmo. That's not the same storm that came through. The one that came through is now over toward Fort Lamar. This is a new one that's coming through your area. So you saw the heavy rainfall. You're getting more heavy rainfall in that area anywhere on the south side of I-85, extending all the way from Gwinnett County up past Jefferson, almost now to Commerce. But these are moving up to the north and east. Let me put a little lapse on it here so you can see for yourself the motion of the storms. Again, continuing northeast at about 30, 40 miles per hour. The one that's near Fort Lamar is going to soon be near Royston as it continues to move northeast and eventually make its way all the way up toward Lake Hartwell with time. Let's see if I can get, I'm going to try to switch over to YouTube here on my computer so that I can get maybe answer some questions from some folks. We were doing that yesterday. That seemed to be quite effective. But right now on our Fox 5 Live Viper, again, take a look at that storm moving through Fort Lamar, producing some hail that'll continue to move over into Royston, eventually over toward Hartwell. The one that was up near Fairview and up toward Lake Hartwell, that has now moved over into South Carolina. In fact, that one may have some tornadic signature with it over toward the Anderson, South Carolina area, but of course that's well out of our viewing area. Down to the south, we've got some showers and maybe a little bit of lightning too going on out around Greensboro. This one is the same one that passed through Madison, is now just north of Greensboro and around the Lake Coney, Lake Sinclair area, moving up toward Woodville. That'll be near Maxey's, just south of Watkinsville. It's going to move south of Athens as it continues moving northeast up toward Lexington, and it eventually should get somewhere near the Elberton area with time. And in Elberton, you may even get some of the activity that right now is over toward Jefferson if it decides to move a little bit more east than northeast. As far as what's happening out to our west, let me get off of our radar and show you if there's anything coming in from the west, because we still have a cold front that is basically close to Huntsville, Birmingham. Maybe it's getting a little bit closer to Atlanta right now, helping to spark the showers and thunderstorms. And once that front goes through, we're going to see the temperatures drop a little bit. We'll see the air definitely get a lot drier later on tonight as the winds shift more out of the northwest. We got a good little southwest wind coming in right now. Again, that should start to shift more eventually out of the northwest once the front comes through. So here's a look at the recent wind right now, or at least the current wind, west-northwest wind in Huntsville, same in Birmingham, but here in Atlanta we still have a southwesterly wind, still a southwest wind over toward Anniston. So the front is not through yet. It's not even through eastern Alabama. So until that front makes its way all the way through metro Atlanta, we run the risk of seeing maybe even a thunderstorm redeveloping somewhere west of Atlanta. The temperatures right now are fairly mild too. We've been up into the 70s all day, helping to fuel some of these thunder showers, and that temperature, the warm temperatures will continue until that front goes through. But where it's been raining right now, you've dropped off into the 60s up near Gainesville. Here in Atlanta, we're 77, we're 79 out in Carrollton, 70 in Gadsden. Heavy rain coming down outside of Lawrenceville up through Decula and Hog Mountain. That'll continue to move to the east, producing with it at times some small hail. I don't think there's going to be anything too big with that cell moving through Decula and Lawrenceville and up toward Auburn, but the hail will be large enough that it certainly could possibly ping your vehicle, so you might want to bring that car in if you can, if you have a garage. If not, you're just going to have to kind of wait out the storm and see what happens, but hopefully your car does not get damaged. So actually this one outside of Decula, south of Decula right now, maybe out around the Harbins Road area, it's looking like 2-inch hail there. So it is getting kind of large there. It is Harbins Road and Winder Highway. 316 right in that area too. Going to see some very heavy hail coming down. Now the hail is extending. Look at that. Just in the last scan, it kicked all the way up toward Auburn. So you have 1-inch hail extending into Auburn, 1/2-inch hail a little bit farther off to the north and east. As far as the rest of the storms are concerned and their potential for producing hail, the ones that were tornadic and that are moved all the way up toward the Fort Lamar area, still producing 2-inch size hail there. That cell still severe. That severe thunderstorm warning. Let me see. Let me get back to the computer here so I can give you exactly when that severe thunderstorm warning. That is up until 4:15. So that's the one for Banks, Madison. That's up until 4:15. So only got about 6 more minutes or so for that severe thunderstorm warning, and then that will no longer be in effect. But got a feeling that that will be extended a little bit farther to the east. You can see there is a severe thunderstorm warning that extends into Hartwell and back over toward Elberton. That's in response to that storm that is making its way right now north of Danielsville. And that severe thunderstorm warning, the one off to our east, that was issued by Greenville Spartanburg. So that outside of our area. Doug Evans has some video right now and some pictures, I think. Probably, I'm guessing hail, Doug.
Hail and just the ominous skies, too, that people have been seeing out there associated with this storm system as it moves across northeast Georgia this afternoon. We just got this photo in. This is I-85 Duluth, dark skies over there. And let me show you before I start to play some videos. We're getting a lot of these type of photos, Jeff. Pictures of what appears to be touching the ground. Not necessarily a tornado, not necessarily circulation involved in that. It's probably more of a shelf cloud and maybe just some downflow out of this storm system. We haven't had any reports yet of a tornado touching down anywhere, although we've had lots of reports of wind damage and trees down. And certainly we've had lots of reports of what you're seeing right now, and that is just hail falling from the skies just abundantly. It's just incredible amounts of hail just pouring down, knocking the leaves right off the trees. Of course, it's doing damage to vegetation. It can certainly do damage to roofs as well as cars. We can expect that the insurance companies, Jeff, will be setting up their mobile command centers over the next couple of days as people start to report claims and bring their cars in and show their insurance agent all the dings and the pings in their car, and there'll be a lot of people up on roofs. Expect to see a lot of blue tarps all the way from Marietta to Alpharetta to Swanee, Houston and the northeast.
The roofing companies will be driving around.
Right, just be careful, and we'll probably be doing stories too, Jeff, on how to protect yourself
That's right.
from some of these fly-by-night companies that move in. Look at Jack's video. This was from Berkeley Lake. I guess, Jeff, it was just so bad that he had to pull over and just wait it out. You can see the car there in front of him has done the same thing. Heavy, heavy rain, just an incredible downpour. You can see the ice as it hits his windshield as well. We have gotten reports of trees down in Cobb County and Gwinnett, and we're getting a lot of video, a lot of pictures of hail, but folks have not yet said how much damage that hail is doing out there. But we can expect that it is doing damage. When you have hail that is that large.
Right, and that coming down at that rate in that large of an area, there's going to be a lot of the trees have got new leaves on them, and tender leaves, and those are going to be stripped off of the trees. There's going to be a lot of mess on the ground, I think, as you get home from work and you go out in the backyard. There's going to be a lot of trees and a lot of leaves and a lot of little branches that are probably broken off from the trees. So we're on YouTube right now getting some questions. Somebody is saying here that they live in Jefferson, but they work somewhere else. Did a tornado hit Jefferson? We haven't gotten any reports of any tornado damage in and around the Jefferson area. What I can tell you happened there is probably a whole lot of hail. That hail came right through Jefferson, made its way all the way up toward Commerce. It's this cell over here in Fort Lamar that was back over toward Jefferson. And even right now in and around Jefferson, here's a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. This one is for the Auburn area, Winder, Statham, all the way up toward Arcade. So this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. This one issued for that area, Barrow, Clark, Jackson, and Madison. This is until 5 o'clock. So that's the cell that was coming through Gwinnett County. This is the one that was all the way back over toward Perimeter Mall originally, made its way through Gwinnett County, and is now pushed up into the Auburn area, starting to move through Barrow County. There it is right now. You can see it if you're viewing it on YouTube. And that's got some serious amounts of hail with it, 1.5 inches in diameter, not extremely huge, but it's just the area, the large area of hail right now. So that's just a big, huge blob of hail falling south of Houston all the way down through Winder and Auburn and back over toward Decula. So that's going to do some damage as that continues to move eastward through the Winder area. In fact, that thunderstorm right now is moving to the east Let's see, probably at about 40 miles an hour or so. I'm trying to look at what the National Weather Service has exactly on their warning here. Let me get the exact for you. East at 35 miles an hour. So that will continue to dump a lot of hail all the way through Barrow County, through Winder, and eventually on eastward, maybe even over toward Athens. Athens, you're within that watch, as well as Nicholson, Jefferson, and the Arcade area. So let's see. I get another question here. Let's see. Somebody wanted something about New York, but we're not in New York. How close is it to Gainesville, Lake Lanier area? Well, it's south of Gainesville and Lake Lanier. So if you live in Gainesville and Lake Lanier, you had some rainfall earlier. You're not going to get any of this. This is all the way south over into Gwinnett County and Barrow County, right where the two counties come together. And again, that'll continue to move eastward through Winder. It'll move through the town of Auburn. It'll eventually start moving over toward Arcade. Athens, Bogart, Statham, I don't think it's going to, well, you'll get some rain out of it. I don't think you'll see the hail. I think the hail is going to stay north of that area as it continues to slide to the north and east, again up toward Arcade. A lot of hail still going on with that cell that's kind of almost getting out of our viewing area right now, and that's all the way up toward Royston, but that's the one that has the largest hail, at least largest in diameter, 2 inches, and also largest in aerial coverage. I mean, that's a huge, huge pocket of hail moving through that part of northeast Georgia. That's about as large as the one that's back over in just exiting Gwinnett County and now pushing into Winder. So those are the cells that we have going on right now. I don't think there's anything else. Let me take off the hail button there. Well, there's actually one north. A couple is developing up toward Cleveland, one near Clarksville. We don't have any lightning with those cells, at least I don't think we do. Let me zoom in. No, there's no lightning with that, so those are just plain old showers moving through Clarksville, north of the Cleveland area, and all the way up toward Toccoa, outside of Toccoa up toward Lake Hartwell. Looks like we might have a little shower going on there. But it's this guy right here that's probably the strongest, definitely in our viewing area, the one that's over toward Winder. Why is, let's see, something about Hall County. Let me see, Lawrenceville, Georgia. Yep, Lawrenceville, Georgia. I mean, you had that rain come through. It's now over with there. It's moved over east into Auburn and over toward Winder, so you don't have to worry about that. You're going to be okay there. Let's see if anybody else, what other folks have asked here. Mostly it's about Jefferson. Everybody wants to know about Jefferson, but again, we don't really have any reports of any tornado damage in and around the Jefferson area. What we do know, though, is that there was a lot of hail. Doug Evans, though, has some more stuff for us. Do you have some more pictures, Doug?
Yeah, we do. We like this kind of picture right here because it shows us perspective of the hailstones that people are seeing out there. There's a nickel that you see there next to these hailstones. Rather large hail that fell very early on in our coverage in Marietta. Today. Marietta had reports, Jeff, of some people reporting to us that they had golf ball size hail in the Marietta Square. We had golf ball size reports of hail all the way from Marietta to Roswell, then Alpharetta. So a lot of areas saw hail today, and they saw it abundantly. This is Marietta as well. Dwayne sent this in. Looks like his back deck. We've been showing you these pictures of just the dramatic skies that people have been seeing all over northeast Georgia. This was Roswell, sent in by Chris 12 minutes ago. You can see the amount of hail that's on his back deck, knocking the leaves off the trees as it comes down through the trees. There's again Jefferson, Georgia. Very ominous skies there. There was another great shot of not just the hail that you see there, but also the cloud cover. This was from Mike. We don't know exactly. This is the backside of the cell as it came through Jefferson. The mammatus clouds that you see there rippling as the storm exits that area. And look at this out of Suwannee. Oh my goodness, this looks like snow coverage. It'll melt off, sure, because the temperature is up there. If it wasn't, you have to go and shovel this stuff off. This kind of hail, the size that we're seeing, and there's another great shot of the damage that it can do to vegetation. Look at those planters there on this back deck, just annihilated by the hail that came down this afternoon, tore through the trees, tore through these flower pots, and did a great deal of damage there to that vegetation. It's not just vegetation, it can also do a great deal of damage to sheet metal, also to roofs. And it's going to be quite a story. We'll probably be hearing from the state insurance commissioner in the next 24 to 48 hours, Jeff, on the amount of damage that was done simply from the hail in this storm alone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Millions, likely.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot that'll pile up from the hail, the damage from that hail falling. It's just such a large area of hail with each one of these storms coming through. There's going to be so many cars, just the sheer number of cars, the sheer number of houses, the sheer number of roofs that get damaged by this hail as it continues to move through. So here's a look at our Fox 5 Live Viper showing you the strongest storm right now. This one is over Winder. This is the one we've been watching coming in through Gwinnett County. Again, that has a whole lot of hail. Let me put it back into the hail mode here so you can just see for yourself how much hail is coming through. I mean, that's just a very large area. We don't normally see stuff like that around here. 1.5 to inch diameter hail extending all the way from Houston through the Winder area. That is a large area. Let me put a little mileage on here for you so you can just see that's a good almost 10 miles wide swath of hail moving across that part of Barrow County. So again, that's going to continue to move off to the north and east. We'll put a track on it, so if you live downstream from that, if you live in Clarksboro, the Attica area, in 22 minutes, that's when it's going to be on your doorstep, moving to the east at 38 miles an hour. You have hail at least 1.25 inches in diameter, 80% chance of that happening. Right now it's on top of you in Winder. If you do live in Winder, if you're listening to us, shoot us a post on Facebook. Let us know what it looks like out there. If you can snap a picture real quick out the front door, do so. We'd love to see. We don't want that for you, that you have to go through this, but we'd love to see what it's doing over there. The one that's up toward Fort Lamar, that seems to be winding down a bit. It's all the way out toward Royston. If you're checking in out of the Hartwell area near Lake Hartwell, especially on the southern end of the lake, not the northern end up not by 85, but the southern end of it, you got a lot of hail coming your way. In fact, it's aimed right down toward, I guess that would be the dam part of Lake Hartwell. So again, be very, very careful in that section of Lake Hartwell if you're up that way. The one back over toward Commerce, a little bit of hail with that, 1.5 to 1 inch, but it's a smaller pocket, so that's not going to affect such a large area. And actually, look at this, the one over toward Winder, remember that stretched all the way up toward Houston, doesn't anymore. It looks like it's almost been cut in half. So maybe that thunderstorm is starting to diminish just a little bit in intensity. I don't think that'll last long. It's probably wishful thinking. That thing will probably flare back up again. Let's see. Let's get some more questions here. Folks tuning in here on YouTube. And we love you tuning in on YouTube. It's great. It's a great resource for us. I bet you it's a great resource for you too. Somebody says here, no hail in Brazelton. So we don't have any hail going on right now in Brazelton. That's good news. Let's see. What else do we have over here? Somebody else is saying, did you see damage or we're asking for damage. Starting to hail right now in Hart County. So that's what's happening all the way out to the east. So that's the stuff that's starting to move in out of Royston up toward Hartwell. The stuff that was up to the north near Clarksville, that's not producing any hail. That was just a plain old rain shower. Let me put the radar mode back on here for you so you can see the rainfall. There's that one that was over toward Lake Sinclair. That's getting a little bit bigger now, over toward Lexington. And look, that might have a little bit of hail with it too. So outside between Arnoldsville and Lexington, the possibility of some hail going on there. And also we've got another shower that's redeveloping south of Madison all the way down toward Monticello. So that wasn't there 10 minutes ago. And again, that's what I was saying. We still have this front out to the west, and until that gets through here, we might see something redevelop sometime maybe 5, 6 o'clock in and around Atlanta, maybe even later than that. The tornado watch, let me put that on for you. The tornado watch, see all the counties in red right here, that extends all the way down into Coweta County. It extends back over into Paulding County. If you live in Douglas County and Fulton County and Cobb and all the way into Clayton and Fayette, you're in that watch as well. And then it just kind of goes right up along the I-85 corridor. So what really happened today is they put out this tornado watch, and usually these things are a little more linear in shape, but this one kind of just squeezed right off over down into Atlanta. Is because we had those thunderstorms developing earlier, and I think the folks at the Storm Prediction Center saw that, and they wanted to include this area, and rightfully so, because we had that one that sure enough looked like a tornado, even if it wasn't. It had all the qualities of a tornado as it moved through. So again, there's a look at that tornado watch. That's in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. We have the severe thunderstorm warnings that are going to be running here just a few more minutes, and we're going to be off of here, I think, by about 4:30. But let's get over to Doug Evans, get another update from you, Doug.
Well, you mentioned Winder, Jeff, just a couple of minutes ago. Here's something out of Winder just 2 minutes ago. Ashley giving us this video of her, or picture rather, of her backyard. She says, hailing here in Winder, come all of a sudden. Wow, exclamation point. Certainly covering the backyard there. Going to show you some of the other pictures, show you some of the video here. This is out of Roswell Village. You can see all the hailstones that are covering this person's yard there. You can see the damage that it's doing to the vegetation as well. Picking up some of the hailstones, some of those probably a ½ inch, maybe or so. And there's some more video, a picture rather, out of Winder. This is from Lydia. Just a couple of minutes ago, of the hail that's falling in Winder at this hour. Getting reports out of Auburn, pictures rather of the hail that's there. Let's talk. Let's show you. We talked a lot about the hail that had fallen in Marietta today. This is from the Walker School. Alicia at the Walker School at 2:07 this afternoon. The hail coming down there. You can see it covering the parking lot. We had reports of golf ball size hail in Marietta near the square there today. Well, here we go, right there. That is certainly golf ball size hail from Alicia at the Walker School at 2:10. Went out there, picked up some of the hail that was out there. I don't know how big her hand is, Jeff, but certainly looks impressive to me. Looks like it could be golf ball size hail out there. We don't know where Tim is, but he says the rain was really coming down. You can see the clouds moving in this video. We're getting lots of pictures and videos of various very ominous looking clouds out there as the storm moves in and out of the area. This looks to be more rain and certainly more hail. This is in Jefferson, Georgia. Story Lane, Brittany tells us. Check out what else is going on here. Barnes Mill Road near Roswell Road in East Cobb today. Looks like Lance has picked up a handful of hailstones that fell at his house. There's a very large one in his hand as well. Hail can certainly do a lot of damage, and you want to be very careful to wait until the storm is over. Make sure that you stay in your safe place until the warnings are over and the storm has passed, and then you can go out and shoot these great pictures for us and share them on our Facebook page and on Twitter, as so many hundreds of people have done all throughout the afternoon today, Jeff.
All right, thanks a lot, Doug. That was great information, great pictures, and we just want to review for you what's going on right now. Here's a look at our Fox 5 Live Viper. Severe thunderstorm warnings that you see in effect, those are up until about 5 o'clock. Just got somebody from Royston, Barbara Dixon on YouTube said they just got pelted with hail there. We believe that. There's been a lot of hail. Somebody wants to know what it looks like in the Colbert-Danielsville area. It looks like you're going to be in for some hail. Danielsville, you're right in the path of this one storm that's coming in through Jefferson and Arcade. That had a lot of hail as it went through Winder. We've got another question right now from Tana Branch, says, how is it looking in Winder for those who are there right now? Got to travel to Athens at 4:30. It's almost 4:30. I think you'll be fine. Just depends on which way you go. Try to stay a little bit south of that storm. It looks like that storm right now is just a little bit, well, it is north of 316. So stay somewhere around 316 and south. I think you'll be okay. The one that's up toward Arcade, if you live in Arcade, you've got hail on your way. Same thing for Jefferson. Again, over toward Nicholson. And did I cover that? I covered Nicholson. The Danielsville, Colbert area, you're going to be in for some of this too. You can see back over toward, let me widen this out a little bit. There's Danielsville over here kind of at the edge of the warned area. But in between Colbert and Danielsville, I got a feeling this storm's probably going to be headed your way with time. And some of the towns that are in line right now, you can see Nicholson 20 minutes, Center in 20 minutes, and there's a 90% chance that that hail is going to at least be an inch in diameter. So it's going to at least be nickel size, penny size type hail that'll be coming down in that area. Still enough to do damage. Farther out to the west, oh, here you go. This is a picture we just got being told. This is from the Roswell area. And boy, that thing got pushed over or snapped, don't really know, but did some damage to that house, unfortunately. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of that and hearing more of some damage, especially in the Roswell area, up into North Fulton County, over into Gwinnett on the north side of I-85, where it looked like that tornado went through. I'm sure at some point we're going to be hearing about some damage. But right now, if you live in the Jefferson area, south of Jefferson, especially through Arcade, we've got a lot of hail going on, and just stay indoors until that storm passes. Stay right here on YouTube. We're going to sign off right now. We're going to keep the Fox 5 Live Viper up, kind of zooming into different storms throughout the rest of the afternoon until Fox 5 News at 5 starts in just about a half an hour. Thanks for joining us, and stay safe.
Roswell, where people are coming out after these storms rolled through to assess the damage. Here's some of the worst that we found. Take a look behind me. You can see this huge old tree came toppling over in those high winds and heavy rains that we saw just a few hours ago. Neighbors telling me this all happened around 2:30 this afternoon. And take a look at the damage done to this woman's house. We haven't gotten a chance to speak with her yet, but neighbors do tell us that she is okay. But you can see right into the house that tree came crashing down, taking out the corner of what looks like her dining room. You can see some of the insulation up there above the ceiling. This is going to be a huge mess to clean up, as you can see. But if you look at it in big picture, she's pretty lucky that the tree didn't fall actually on her house. It looks like it could have been a lot worse. But again, this is some of the worst damage that we've seen. Tree down, taken out a portion of what appears to be her dining room. Other folks in the area left with just a lot of debris. We noticed that when we were driving in. The roadways were covered with a lot of branches and leaves and stuff off of the trees. So all in all, people here really lucked out. This, again, is some of the worst damage that we've seen. People are going to be out, though, helping her clean up. No word yet on when she's going to be, where she's going to be staying tonight. But again, we are told by neighbors that she was unharmed in all this. We're going to have more on this coming up in just a few minutes on Fox 5 News at 5. And then again at 6 o'clock, I'm going to be staying up here monitoring conditions. So be sure to tune in at 5 and 6. For now, though, we're live in Roswell. I'm Trevor Shirley, Fox 5 News.
News at 5 starts right now.
This is just a taste of what many of you have seen today. The Fox 5 Storm Team has tracked these strong storms on air and engaging you on social media all afternoon. These storms have left behind some damage, and we'll have live reports in moments.
But here's the good news. The storms are moving out right now, so let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist David Shandley. He's in the Fox 5 Storm Center with our forecast.
Yes, Sinead and Tom been here all afternoon with meteorologist Jeff Hill, and it looks like things are beginning to wind down for the metro area. Now, the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service still holding on to the tornado watch for a lot of chunk of metro Atlanta until 8 o'clock tonight, but I expect this to be whittled away here moment by moment as the storms leave the area. You can see Fox 5 Live Viper. I've put the storms on top of the watch area, and once this starts clearing, then those counties will be whittled away as the threat goes away. But this is what's going on right now with Fox 5 Live Viper. We've got some showers from Stone Mountain up through just the outskirts of Lawrenceville into Winder. These are not severe, still just some more rain in that area as they slip off to the east at about 35, 40 miles an hour. We do have a severe storm that's up here northeast of the city. This is moving out of Jackson County into Madison County. Severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch hail and gusty winds up to 60 miles an hour moving toward the Danielsville area. And you can see the hail core with that black speck right there indicating where the heaviest hail and the largest hail would be as this moves off to the east as well. That severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:30 as it extends into portions of Madison County and then on into probably Elbert and Hart County as the afternoon progresses. But that's what we're dealing with right now, those storms. Your little broader view shows you that there's nothing upstream. Once these storms exit, they were in smooth sailing for the foreseeable future as the front moves through. And get this, we're going to talk about a little cooler temperatures. We're going to talk about drier air, and we're going to talk about sunshine in the forecast. We have all that timing for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, David. Well, when the hail started coming down, incredible images really started to pour in.
Fox 5 viewers like you from all over Metro Atlanta have sent in some amazing video tonight, and we appreciate that. Take a look at this. From viewer Javi Calderon sending us this video of the hail pounding Sugar Hill this afternoon. A little further north in Houston, they got rocked by severe weather too. Take a look at this video sent from the area of Chateau Elon. And Brazelton got beat up too this afternoon. Take a look at this video posted to our Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page by Alexis Adina. The Fox 5 News team is standing by with team coverage of today's severe weather and its effects. We're going to go live to Portia Bruner in just moments.
Let's begin now with Fox 5's Trevor Shirley. He's live tonight in Roswell, where a tree has fallen on a home. Trevor, it looks like a lot of destruction behind you there.
Yeah, a lot of damage here. Neighbors tell me this storm came through fast and it came through hard, and now they're picking up the damage left behind. Some of the worst, in fact, the worst damage that we've seen all day is right behind me. Take a look. This tree came crashing down, narrowly missing the majority of this woman's house, but as you can see, it did clip the corner of her dining room. You can see right in there. I think you can probably see her chandelier there and a lot of the insulation above her dining room. She's pretty lucky, though. If you take a look at the big picture, if this tree had gone another direction, it could have destroyed the majority of her house. Certainly a very big mess left behind here. I did just speak with her. She's okay. She told me she's shaken up, but now she's just trying to figure out how to clean this mess up. Restoration services are out here now. They're getting ready to start the process of cutting this tree out and getting it. Then the repair work will start on her house. By and large, this is the worst damage that we've seen. Coming up here, though, we saw a lot of debris. That's what I think most people are going to be dealing with, is all of the branches and the leaves and just the debris from the trees that has blown all over the area. You can tell that the rain came down hard. It was coupled with the winds, and those were the really the biggest contributing factors to all this. But luckily, the good news in this, no huge damage to her house. Obviously, she has a lot to deal with right now, and she is safe. We're going to try and catch up with her and bring you an update on everything up here at 6 o'clock. For now, though, that is the latest in Roswell. I'm Trevor Shirley, Fox 5 News.
As you say, she's very lucky. lucky. We're glad she's okay tonight. Trevor, thank you for that. Right now, DeKalb County students are mourning a beloved teacher killed when a tree fell on her Atlanta home early this morning. Fox 5's Portia Bruner is live in DeKalb County now with our story.
And Portia, really a devastating loss for so many people.
Yeah, and what makes it just so hard is that it's just one of those incredibly unpredictable acts of nature. You just can't tell when this is going to happen, but when it does, the effects are certainly devastating, especially for the children and faculty here at Ronald McNair Middle School in DeKalb County.
Right now, it's disbelief and shock.
Dr. Patricia Boucher was one of those teachers who clearly made a difference. Her principal, Ronald Mitchell, says she was the driving force behind the recent rise in math and science scores here at McNair Middle School in DeKalb County.
When kids needed extra work, extra help with their work, she helped them with that. So she was just an excellent educator.
Mitchell says the Savannah native changed a lot of lives in the decade she taught science at McNair. She died when a huge tree, much larger than her home on Oak Cliff Road, crashed to the back of her house at 2 a.m. Monday. She was trapped under the debris of the den where firefighters believe she was asleep. Atlanta's assistant fire chief says it took 2 hours to shore up the home before they could safely enter it.
Where the tree hit the house, for her sake, it really couldn't have been a worse place. The tree hit the house, and then she basically, the mechanism of injury was the tree and part of the structural members of the house.
We call each other on Sundays and speak with each other, and she did her round of calls, and she spoke with me on yesterday, so it's very devastating right now with our family. She loved her school, she loved her ministry at Rail Changes. She just was a loving aunt.
I can tell you crisis counselors, grief counselors here today at Ronald McNair for the teachers and the students. This is a woman who's been here for 10 years, changed a lot of lives, and will be deeply missed. Coming up tonight at 6, I'll tell you what the principal says she did on Friday. One of her last acts that he thinks is going to make a big difference for the students as they get ready for some pretty big tests starting tomorrow. Reporting live in DeKalb County at McNair Middle School, Portia Bruner, Fox 5 News.
Thanks, Portia. Well, don't forget, you can stay ahead of the storms and the warnings with the Fox 5 Storm Team weather app. It's free, and you can track alerts and live Viper in real time. All you have to do is download it from your Apple or your Android store. And new at 5, a bizarre display from a defendant sparked an evacuation at the Gwinnett County Courthouse today. Now, a man who pleaded guilty to making terroristic threats left the courthouse and scared his wife again, according to the DA.
The man slipped away from the courthouse, but not before he did some mischief under the hood of the car his wife was driving. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor is live tonight in Gwinnett County with our story. Angelique, what on earth happened here today?
Lots of commotion here. It really all started with a domestic case from last year, but today was the sentencing. And so a lot of people were affected by it, couldn't come and go here at the Gwinnett County Courthouse, all because, according to the DA, that a man who pleaded guilty to terroristic threats got behind the hood or under the hood of his own car, the car that you see behind me there. Gwinnett deputies diverted traffic and evacuated the courthouse parking lot for several hours Monday. District Attorney Danny Porter told us all the commotion was caused by this man, Philip Apu. Mr. Apu pleaded guilty to terroristic threats and was sentenced to probation and work release. The DA says Mr. Apu left the courthouse and went to the parking lot with revenge on his mind.
When she went to the vehicle, she saw Mr. Apu under the hood of the car with his hands in the engine compartment. She came back into our office and asked for an escort back to her car, and one of my investigators and a sheriff's deputy went out with her.
Danny Porter says investigators found a suspicious wire device under the hood, sealed off the front parking lot, and called in the bomb squad.
I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that it could be a car bomb, and so the sheriff's department has taken appropriate precautions, and then of course in the middle of that we had the tornado drills.
After the tornado drill and the bomb squad's work, investigators determined Apu only disconnected a battery, and since he owns the car, there will be no charges.
There were no explosives found in the vehicle. The vehicle was checked very thoroughly. It appears that the car battery may have been disconnected.
So a whole lot of people inconvenienced, but no car bomb here. We are told that Mr. Apu should start his work release program in the morning. Reporting live in Gwinnett County, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Somebody is awake. Says right to me.
Famed singer Bobby Brown told fans at a concert that his daughter, Bobby Christina, was awake. His attorney released a statement minutes ago saying that she has made it out of ICU, opened her eyes, and started a rehabilitation that will be long and difficult. Now, TMZ reports that the Houstons say Bobby Christina has made no change since moving to a new facility and is still unresponsive. The 21-year-old daughter of Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown was found unresponsive in a bathtub at her home in Roswell back in January.
New at 5, a burglary at a local shopping mall turns deadly when the people involved sped away from the scene. This sad scene unfolding earlier this morning in Cherokee County.
Nathalie Pozo with News Radio 106.7 spoke to police about what exactly happened.
Well, Georgia State Patrol troopers tell me the vehicle lost control, killing the passenger and sending the driver to the hospital. It all started here at the outlet shops on Ridgewalk Parkway in Woodstock at around 5 Monday morning.
The individuals involved fled the scene whenever security approached them. Dispatch gave out a description of the vehicles involved to our patrol officers.
Authorities say the suspects took off in a total of 3 vehicles. Troopers believe one of those drivers, 23-year-old Tora Glennis Gordon, stole a 2002 Acura. Troopers say the unlicensed driver was traveling with a passenger when officers spotted the car.
The vehicles exiting 575 onto Highway 92, driving erratically and almost striking 2 vehicles. A short time later, one vehicle involved did crash.
Investigators tell me Gordon was driving at a high rate of speed on Highway 92 when he lost control near Wade Green Road. Traveled across the eastbound lanes, struck a curb, overturned, and hit a retaining wall. The passenger died, and Gordon was taken to Kennestone Hospital, where troopers say he's in a medically induced coma.
Our detectives are actively following up on leads to identify and gather more information on the individuals involved.
Woodstock police say it's too early in the investigation to determine if the suspects have been involved in other burglaries. They are working to determine how many people were involved in this one. And Woodstock police tell me detectives are looking for the other vehicles involved in that burglary. In Woodstock, Nathalie Pozo, News Radio 106.7 for Fox 5 News.
And still ahead at 5, more devastation for a local family involved in a high-speed crash on Moreland Avenue. We have new information ahead.
I'm Chris Shaw, live in Valdosta, the epicenter of a nationwide controversy involving disgracing the American flag. I'll talk to the woman who's at the center of that controversy and the amazing thing she says happened today. That's ahead at 5.
A police chase ends at this Southwest Atlanta apartment complex. Police confident they had their suspects cornered here. So why were they forced to pull back? I'm Deidre Dukes. We'll have that story coming up.
We continue our weather team coverage now with these amazing images. Take a look. This is where hail hammered this part of Johns Creek this afternoon. It was so much hail that fell, it actually looked like snow in some areas. Now, Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz is live tonight in Johns Creek with the latest for us.
Yeah, Jacqueline, that video is absolutely wild. What does it look like there now?
It's pretty unbelievable, guys. Take a look behind me. It's the middle of April, and look at this. Looks like snow right in the middle of this parking lot at Publix. We're at Haynesbridge Road and Alabama. Folks have been walking through this all day, taking photos, trying to step through, drive through. Mess, it certainly crunches when you go through it. Now, I want you to take a little closer look at what's actually on the ground. Look at the size of this stuff. Pretty much marble size, pebble size around here. Now, as you take a look at this video, earlier today, workers actually had to sweep all the hail that was all around the parking lot because, you know, it is a safety hazard. Right now, it is melting, but it's pretty incredible that it has lasted this long. Told me that the hail was coming down in Johns Creek very hard at around 2:30 this afternoon, and as you can see, there's video from elsewhere in Johns Creek. It was just coming down. Folks say that they have it all over their lawns, all over their decks, all over their driveways, and folks, pretty much the jokes around here is that they can't wait for normal weather to come.
This is insane. I've never seen anything like it. The whole neighborhood is just all green, and it smells all over the place. It smells a great aroma of pine or something.
Now, as you can see, the parking lot, a lot of people trying to walk through this. In fact, Publix workers have been escorting people through the parking lot, making sure that they don't trip and fall. We're going to have our forecast in just moments on what other weather might be coming our way. But for now, live in Johns Creek, Jacqueline Schultz, Fox 5 News.
All right, thanks, Jacqueline. You don't expect to see ice and flip-flops and tank tops in the same story,
yeah, winter
right?
in April, right?
My goodness. Well, we have a Fox alert for you now. Right now, East Point police searching for several fugitives who led police on a chase into Atlanta.
As many as 6 men took off, hitting a patrol car when police tried to arrest them at an East Point Walmart. They led police on a chase to this apartment complex in southwest Atlanta. But when SWAT teams thought they had those men pinned in, they were forced to pull back. Let's go live to Deidre Dukes, who's live on the ground right now. Deidre, where do we stand now on the search for these suspects?
No suspects still at large tonight. That search did start in East Point, crossing over into Atlanta. It ended here at the Allen Hill apartment complex in southwest Atlanta on MLK Drive. Now, this is what happened. Once the chase got to this point, several suspects bailed out of a car and they ran onto the complex grounds here. At that point, APD SWAT was called out to assist East Point police. They rolled on scene, descending on that building where East Point police believe 4 to 6 suspects were holed up, ready to move in. And once they were prepared to do that, they did alert those suspects, believing that they were in Building 11, that they were here on the grounds, but they then learned that the request that they had made for a search warrant had been denied, and so they were forced to pull back. Now, I did speak with East Point police spokesman Lieutenant Cliff Chandler, and he says this all started around 12:15 this afternoon when East Point police received a call of someone trying to steal a car or break into a car at the Walmart on Cleveland Avenue.
One of the initial officers was actually struck in her car by the perpetrators as they were fleeing. We believe this was an intentional act. Our officer was injured as a result of this accident. Additional officers saw this take place and they engaged the suspects in a vehicle pursuit. The vehicle pursuit led them to the Allen Hill apartment complex here in Atlanta.
No word why this search warrant was denied. Once again, because the search warrant was denied, SWAT, APD SWAT, and East Point Police forced to pull back, pack up and leave. No word where they suspect these suspects, if they have any idea where these suspects are tonight. They are still at large. Anywhere from 4 to 6 suspects were told. As for the officer who was injured, we are told that officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries. That's the latest here in southwest Atlanta. Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Incredible images coming into our Fox 5 newsroom tonight of a massive hailstorm that started pounding parts of the metro area late this afternoon. People have been so good all day at sharing their photos and their videos of conditions where they are. Chief Meteorologist David Chanley standing by now. And David, the storm blew in, made a mess, and now it's blown right back out.
Yeah, we're waiting on the front to move through, and that's happening now. Calmer weather back behind that, and we're going to actually catch our breath here overnight and through the day tomorrow. And some dry weather is going to be rolling into metro Atlanta as well. But we're not done yet. Still a few embedded showers and a nasty thunderstorm up to the northeast. We'll get to that momentarily. Temperatures right now, well, they're fairly mild across North Georgia. Here we go. We're in the mid-70s. We topped out at 77 in between some of the storms. 77 in Carrollton, a warm 81 in LaGrange, 73 in Gainesville, 70 in Athens. Now, we're still holding on to a tornado watch. Conditions favorable for the possibility of tornadoes, but those counties are going to be whittled away very, very shortly because the storms are moving away. This is Fox 5 Live Viper right now. Kind of put the storms over the watch, and you can kind of see the area that we're looking at here just south of I-85 right now. We've got a cell that's blossomed here in and around Loganville, right along Highway 78 there, moving over into Walton County right now. Probably a pretty good downpour with that, and then some rain up in Winder. Lighter showers now. And you can see the general motion moving off. Pretty good clip, 35, 40 miles an hour. Our active warning is up here in Madison County. Get your bearings. That's north of Lexington and Athens for some hail 1 inch in diameter, as well as some gusty winds up to 60 miles an hour just to the east of the city of Danielsville right now. That's pushing toward Elbert County and Hart County here in the next little bit. And you can broaden the picture back out, and you can see that there's nothing upstream for us. No, nothing rolling in from Alabama. Here's the front now draped across our region. More showers and thunderstorms off to the east and to the southeast of Atlanta, and that's where they're moving to. And we get some calmer weather moving in here later this afternoon, tonight, and a good-looking forecast for tomorrow. Now, meteorologist Jeff Hill joins me, and Jeff was here at Fox 5 News at noon watching these storms develop. And, Jeff, they just kind of exploded with the heating of the day, and we had tremendous amount of hail across the area.
Right, they really did. I mean, we went from 0 to 60 in about 1 second this afternoon as those thunderstorms blew up, and everything just kind of came together. Of course, we always get some hail with some of these thunderstorms across metro Atlanta, but this was just an incredible event today. I think two things really came together. We had incredible updrafts. That's something you have to have in order to get some hail forming. But we also had a freezing level, which really wasn't all that high. It was only at about 11,000 feet. And earlier this afternoon, when we were looking at some of these thunderstorms, they were as high as 40,000 feet. So you had 30,000 feet of sub-freezing temperatures in the upper part of those thunderstorms. And with the big updrafts that we had, carrying that moisture back up, freezing, refreezing over and over again. That's the reason why we got such large hail, and we had such huge areas of hail across metro Atlanta with these thunderstorms as they came through. Here's a look at some of the pictures that we got sent in from us today. This comes from Amy Thomas Miller out in Jefferson, and this was some very big hail, bigger than a quarter size hail, larger than that, possibly up to golf ball size hail. And look at this. This comes to us from Leanne. This was on Twitter, sent in to me, McCleskey East Cobb Y, and that was near East Piedmont and Roswell Road. That's when that storm was intense, and we thought maybe it had a tornado associated with it, but that looks like that's golf ball size hail or larger. Hopefully something we don't see for any time soon. David will be back with your complete forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Jeff. Let's take a look now at Skyfox traffic in your evening rush hour. 85 northbound from the perimeter to Highway 316, taking 21 minutes. Highway 316 eastbound from I-85 to Walther Boulevard, 14 minutes. And the top end commute beginning to slow down at this hour. It's a 23-minute drive between I-75 and I-85. If you take a look through a DOT camera, you'll see Georgia 400 near Abernathy Road. Your drive between the top end and Old Milton Parkway, now right around 20 minutes.
A 4-year-old local girl recovers from a terrible accident. Her stepmother is under arrest, and 2 electricians are hailed as heroes. You've got to see this incredible story ahead.
But first, a 3rd child has died after a high-speed crash that may have been linked to racing. That story next on Fox 5 News at 5.